Time for cities and towns to start dreaming again.
Good evening and welcome to the EFL Championship review show. Like I said, we're glad to be back on to do watching. We was on last week due to we all had as well. I was 4,000 miles away, so I had a perfect excuse. But you guys had a really excuse. But we are here for
He's not kidding, guys. He actually did have a valid excuse, to be fair.
Very
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, Carl.
I know. Yeah. I believe yesterday it's my week anniversary, so yeah, I have to cherish every moment as I can be as I can. So, but I'm glad.
Well, that's why Anton Stack scored the free kick yesterday, because he wanted to celebrate you getting married for the first week of your marriage. That's what it was. What a kind, considerate bloke he is.
Oh, yeah, he's a kind, considerate bloke as well. Completely. Less about the Premier League, because I'll talk about that on Tuesday night with Douglas himself to do the recordings after Monday night's game. But how you gentlemen doing? And you hope you're well, and especially with you guys going to your away games yesterday.
Yeah, not doing too badly.
Yeah, I wasn't doing too badly till Omar Alderete decided to give Ipswich a goal effectively, but we'll let that slide. But joking aside, Ipswich is actually a canny ground. I'd never been to Portman Road before, so no, it was pretty good. The game itself was drab, but other than that, the day out was class.
But what a free kick from Aurelio, let's be honest, Mike. That was a peak.
I would love it a lot more if it counted towards us getting a result, but it is a great free kick.
Well, true. Well, I'm looking forward to hear your match, your match review when we play it.
Doug messaged me on WhatsApp and said, if possible, could you get us it was like before the game, could you get us a video outside Portman Road? I was like, mate, I don't even want to do a video on my own channel. I was fuming at full time. So I was like, nah, I'll wait till my thoughts have calmed down a bit and then I'll do one. But yes, you have to remind me. I will do you a video for that.
No, appreciate that. Well, let's get loads of games we're going to talk about, actually. And I want to kick off probably the shock of the weekend is Charlton win at West Ham 2-1. I have to admit, I did not expect that result. Actually, well, like I said, it only took 7 minutes for Lloyd Jones to score his first goal of the season, and then all of a sudden Tyrese Campbell scored the second goal in the second half, and then with Joe Peru, who's on loan at least, pulled the goal back, and then fortunately the penalty was hit the post by Tati Castillo, hit the penalty, and a lot of boos again at the lovely stage. And I don't know who wants to go first. What's your take on it? Because this is a good win for Charlton too.
It's not even just a good win for Charlton. Sorry, Sam, go on. You go on first. You're about to talk.
I was going to say it's a very good win for Charlton and a very good goal by Lloyd Jones. A defender up the pitch that far. He would have had a nosebleed. I think he was joking with Hugh from MD2 Sports that he said he had a migraine because he was up that far up the pitch and hurt his head. And he done the overhead. And to be fair, Charlton deserved it. And I've actually got a vested interest in Charlton this season for one reason or another. They've got Bigger Congo on loan from Wrexham. I think it could lead to a permanent move away from Congo, but he played very, very well yesterday at the London Stadium.
You know what? That says a lot. That's how I touch up in. I didn't even realise that Conco had gone to Wrexham. Oh, was that done after you signed Anthony Patterson, I believe, then?
Yeah.
So it's free prospect. Yeah, I thought it would have been.
Yeah.
Go on.
So basically, Anthony came in and the Conco went on loan to Charlton.
Okay, well, fair enough. That's a solid enough signing for Charlton, to be fair, I think. I'll just give Charlton credit, and I'm sure you will all agree with me. At the time before West Brom's result today, that put Charlton second. Ignore the fact it's only 2 games. I don't think Charlton fans want to focus on that. But, if you're based off last season, how 2 of the top 3 are Charlton Athletic and West Bromwich Albion, yeah, that's quite mental, that, really. But, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think this will just be a good win for Charlton. I think it's a fantastic win for them. It's probably arguably the best win they might get all season. It's certainly going to be hard for them to beat that unless they go somewhere that's someone decent and absolutely stuff them. But to echo what Stefan said, I think from what I like to say, like when Charlton got the second goal in particular, it was deserved. West Ham didn't look like they could get the grip of them whatsoever, and I think this seems to be symptomatic of West Ham going down. I don't know what you guys think about this theory, but it seems to me that a lot of teams are going to view particularly teams like Charlton, are going to view West Ham as the biggest game of their season, apart from any derby games. Like everyone's going to
pretty much like a cup final. I think Stefan can back me on that one. It's going to be everyone's cup final
Yes.
for the next week.
absolutely.
West Ham and Wolves are going to be everyone's cup final. 2 cup finals in this season for championship teams. If I'm looking at more, probably West Ham, because they've got the bigger ground. They can fit 62,000 plus in.
Yeah, that was their biggest attendance in championship history for a long time.
Okay,
So yeah.
It was their biggest championship attendance since they were last in the championship in 2012. And Nuno's post-match comments were very scathing. He's like, we let 62,000 people down, and we apologize.
I mean, that win is peak Nathan Jones. 17% possession in the second half.
Yeah.
They go 1-0 up at half time, go 11 minutes into the second half, they go 2-0 up. Tyrese Campbell, by the way, what a goal that is.
Great.
And then 25 shots to 7, 4 big chances to 1, 2.84 XG to 0.62. Obviously, that's skewed by the penalty at the end. And I know Danny McNamara was having a bit of fun and games with Tati Castellanos after he missed out. But look, cracking win for Charlton. And when you play a year 1 parachute team like West Ham, who are still in turmoil, or still, going through their turnover of playing staff in particular, and they're going to take a little bit of time to fully get going. You've got to go there and bank if you can. And again, if you've got Nathan Jones as manager, you've got every chance of pulling off a result and a performance like that. And on another day, West Ham score the penalty, and we're looking at a 2-2 draw, and we're looking at our West Ham come back from 2-0 down. What spirit, what fight, and a point at home after going 2-0 down. But Charlton, full value for the win. Having a Okonkwo in there, so hugely important now, because he'll be presumably number 1 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he definitely is now. Yeah.
And the first goal is, again, just peak Nathan Jones, isn't it? Long throw, Lloyd Jones, a bit of a mess. It's a bicycle kick, but it's not the greatest bicycle kick in the world. Hermansen is scrambling a little bit, but I don't think Charlton fans will care one bit. It's a London derby as well, so adds a little bit of spice. Great win for Charlton, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, West Ham, I think we kind of expected them to take maybe a little bit of time to fully get going, but that was a shock that they shouldn't really be losing that game with the starting 11 they had on the pitch.
No.
Just to add to that as well, Hermansen, Walker-Peters, Mavropanos, Kilman, Scarles, is it Scarles? That's how you say it.
Yeah,
Solomon, Kante, Engels, Bowen, Piru, Castellanos. Yeah, and that's one that just started. Who came off the bench? Orford came off the bench. So did Beltman. Mukasa came off the bench. Oh, that was it. Okay. But yeah, James Ward-Prowse was an unused substitution. And there you go. That says the quality that they have. And actually what I've got to mention, because Stefan was up for doing a show last week, but it was probably my fault we didn't do one because I was at a talk-in, so I couldn't quite make one. But just to give Charlton their dues here, they've beaten 2 good teams. They've beat Derby last week and they've beaten West Ham so far. And I think they deserve all the plaudits they get for this start after beating 2 teams that were at the very least fancied for a playoff place. And in West Ham's case, automatic promotion.
I know we're only 2 games in, lads, but do you think Charlton could be a surprise package this season?
It's very early, and Charlton had a really good start last season as well. They were in the top 6 conversation,
They
weren't they?
were, yeah,
until about October-ish. So, it's too early. It's too early to say anything.
It's way too early. I would say by October's, like you said, October's the best bet where we know where everyone's going to be completely. Especially
I think I would also go on, finish, go on.
And especially because we've got the expanded playoff, 2 extra playoff spots, it's going to be, I think we'll get a decision either October, November time at the latest.
Look, it's Nathan Jones. So you saw what he did at Luton, gradual year-on-year sort of progression. Can Charlton get into mid-table? And then once you get into that mid-table pack and you're solidified, you never know. You can have a push. Look at what we did. Like, we were sort of mid-table out of nowhere, really. Then we went and got into 6. So it is possible.
I would say as well, I think at the minute Nathan Jones probably isn't thinking like that either. He would probably be thinking, let's make sure we stay up again. Make sure we do that first, and then get whatever else comes with. But look, when you have a good, well, it might need to be 50 in the championship. But yes, I do take it.
Oh, sorry, 50. God, not 40. Christ, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think for the only. I'll tell you the funny story. I remember, if you talk about 40 points, the year we got promoted from League One, Fleetwood. Bear in mind, there's 4 relegation places in League One. Fleetwood finished 20th on 40 points. It was in 21-22. And that's quite an anomaly, that in itself. And obviously, you've got 1 less relegation place in the championship. But still, I think Charlton's point of view would be get to 45, 50 points first and then progress from there. If they are still here, I would say around the November international break or around Christmas, then you never know. But obviously, look, the table's the season's so early that anyone can. 2 results can change things drastically. And we've got to remember that in context for West Ham. Like Annie said, I don't know why I'm confusing everyone's names all of a sudden. Like Annie ended up saying, West Ham are going to take a bit of time to probably adapt to being in this league, because Nuno's style of play, it probably suited them in the Premier League because they were used to, in a lot of games, not having as much of the ball. Whereas this time they're expected to dominate a lot of possession. But that's countered by the quality that I could see Nuno's tactics away at Burnley last week, for example. Like, that's the sort of game I can understand where you are going to have less of the ball and you're going to focus on being solid. But they will, unless they do a Leicester. Sorry, Ant, if you're somehow watching this, but you probably won't be. Unless they did a Leicester, then I very much they should be in the top 8 as a bare minimum. And you could argue even not in the top 2 is a big disappointment. So I'd wait and see what goes on with West Ham. I think it's too early for any West Ham fans panic, but there is absolutely no doubt that they need to get a win as soon as possible, really.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it's a bit of a sluggish, slow start for West Ham, but like I said, 2 wins for 2 from Charlton as well, which is a good weekend for them. Let's go to another game that did also have a bit of a shock for Saturdays. And actually, before we do, we'll say get into the chats, please. Everyone, if you want to hit that like and subscribe button, please follow us as well on not just mine, but also on the guys' channel as well, Michael and Annie's channel, as well as Stefan's channel on YouTube. As also, you can follow me and Stefan on Twitch as well on the Banter Boots podcast. Hit that like and subscribe button. And actually, we have got a message come in, and it's good to see Charlie Jarrett back in the comments. Us Charlie fans at 8 getting carried away. We won't go down though. Much stronger side this season than last. Nation was a great manager. I reckon we finished 12-ish this year. Improvement.
That'd be come.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why there's no reason why they can't be a surprise. There's no reason why they can't be a surprise package, and they deserve it. They've had many years in League One, so why not enjoy it?
Yeah, and I also think as well, because there was rumours about the ownership issue, the club was going to consider selling, but it looks like they're going down what Rex was doing to get additional investment. So if they do get that during this season, I think that you could see them being much improved in the long run.
You can see them get a Disney Plus documentary as well.
Well, you never know, especially.
Welcome to Charlton. There you go, Stefan. You might have a rival there. Arthur Conquo, come on, you follow the story wherever he goes. Hey, boy, Anthony Patterson will be on the next season of Welcome to Wrexham, surely.
It should be on the next season, because we've got it for another 3 seasons, which would take up to 8 or 9 seasons.
Hold on. Will it be done if you ever? I don't think. Well, if you ever get to the Premier League, will that be done? It's done.
Hold on. Let me backtrack there. I might have to turn my hearing aid up a lot, but you said, I don't think you ever. I'm sure you did just say that.
I just said what I said. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Okay.
I think he meant in the near future. I think he meant in the next year or two, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate. Okay.
No, because I think they've got the contract right through until season 29-30. So wherever we end up,
so that's another 4. Yeah, okay, that's another 4 seasons, that isn't it?
Yeah,
including this one.
Yeah, including this one's another 4 seasons.
Oh well, we'll see.
I mean, it's a good revenue spinner for fans around the world, like myself in Scotland. We got fans in Patagonia, fans on Deep Island somewhere. I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Stefan. You do not have the Hollywood derby on Friday coming up as well?
Yeah, you do, don't you?
That's in Birmingham.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, not surprised as well. That'll be interesting with that one.
It's really weird because 2 draws, we've had loads of chances, but George Thomas and yesterday, he will come on to later on.
Let's just say, guys, that Stefan's WhatsApp notes after Cardiff's very late equaliser on Monday were making interesting listening.
Yeah, compared
a few moments later. Sick.
You probably clipped it already, Ballard boy.
Believe it or not, no. But thanks for the idea.
No, I also clipped the one what happened with Man United yesterday as well too, because that is so funny as well too. Because
that was quite amusing, I have to admit.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's move on to the next game. I'm going to go to Ewood Park. A good win for Tony Mowbray, first home game of the season as Blackburn Rovers manager after beating his old club Middlesbrough 2-1. Goals from Adam Goodjunction and Todd Catwell in the second half. Joey Sarmiento scored in the 12th minute. Any good win for Blackburn, and Middlesbrough, could have been a little bit better, but took 6 minutes for Blackburn to overturn that 1-0 deficit.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of those games from Middlesbrough last season towards the back end of it where they missed a load of chances, conceded fine margins, conceded a couple of goals, lose the game. It wasn't like that at all, actually. Blackburn had chances, quite a few actually, to go and score in this game. In the first half, Radek Vitek makes a save of Dapo Afolayan. Luke Ayling literally on the goal line, on his sort of on the back foot, leading back, clears it brilliantly. And yeah, Blackburn deserved to score twice. They absolutely did. So I don't think Middlesbrough can have too many complaints about this. Yeah, okay, they had enough of the ball to go and create a few more chances, probably score a few more goals. But yeah, I think in a weird way for Borough, having Sarmiento, having Whittaker, having Lancashire, having them all on the pitch, particularly Sarmiento, who's been a bit in and out, hasn't he, since he's come in January. Yeah. I think him scoring a lovely goal, lovely, beautifully worked Middlesbrough goal, him finishing off is nice. Yeah, maybe I don't know, are we expecting Middlesbrough to just go and smack someone 5-0, 4-5-0, then they'll start sort of motoring along? Because it was a big fight against Lincoln. They probably did deserve to win that game in the end. But yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a bit of a weird one, Middlesbrough, at the moment. I think I haven't probably got a read on them. They should be good. They've got some really good players, and I'm sure they won't be finished for the transfer market yet either. I think Kim Hellbeck's made that pretty clear. But
I don't think they're going to do what Coventry did, like with the score loads of goals. I just don't think that's going to happen as much. I don't think it will.
Yeah, I think they've got the style of play. I think they've got the players, or enough for the moment. Yeah, maybe I'm just a little bit. I just want to see something from them. I just want to see maybe I'm expecting something from it, like what Ipswich did last season, where I'm just like, can you go and smack someone 4 or 5-0 and then just winning games? Win 4-5 in a row. Can you start doing that? and then I'll be on the board. But yeah,
I know what you mean, Annie, but I think the watch phrase of tonight is it's very early days in the season. We're only in Matchday 2. There's still another 44 league games plus cup matches to go. So I reckon teams like Middlesbrough, West Ham, Wolves have actually kicked on already. So, but on good Wolves, I reckon they'll come on to their games eventually and start playing like the way that we expect teams
I think with
in the Championship.
I think with Middlesbrough, the thing is, I mean, I was going to say, would it take Lancashire time to settle? But shouldn't he? He's got 3 goals in all competitions already, hasn't he? So, I think the thing with Coventry, I get Annie's comparison though, because Middlesbrough would be, if you compare them to Coventry, non-parachute clubs, but ones that have had a fair amount of investment, they've actually been ran fairly well, I would say, when it comes to player trading. But I think obviously Coventry, I think the only slight difference, I suppose, I would point out is Coventry already had the likes of Radoni, Sims, Wright, Sakamoto, Thomas Asante, all those players that are capable of chipping in double figures. I know not all of them did, I don't think, last season, but the point is they're all capable of doing it. Whereas with Middlesbrough, bit by bit, they've kind of assembled this squad, really, over the last couple of years. So Morgan Whittaker, for example, signed 18 months ago, didn't he, from Plymouth? So, obviously embedded him into the club. Obviously signed Kyle Joseph, who I think is a solid signing as well. Will Lancashire, of course, is the big main one, really, isn't he? But I do get what I mean. I think the big thing for Borough is finding the best balanced side possible while still keeping the style of play. Because there's no doubt we know that Borough are capable of creating chances and having shots. It sounds weird, really, but the biggest thing they need to do is just make sure you keep them clean sheets and balance it at the other end, because and not lose a game to Connor Chaplin's private parts, for example. That actually would be a pretty good start. So but I think it's a game management side of things. That's maybe the one thing about Middlesbrough that I think I would probably level at them a little bit. I mean, I was going to say Ipswich 2-2 last year, but that's not the fairest comparison. That was a very contentious penalty, so that isn't really on Borough. But you get my point. Like, I'm sure Annie will probably agree here. The game against Bristol City at Riverside, for example, Middlesbrough, cruise control, comfortable, don't deal with a set piece 1-1. It's those type of games that against, who like say likes of a QPR. Well, okay, QPR actually been quite ambitious, but you get the point. Teams that they need to be beaten if they're going to want to get promoted. But we've got to mention quickly from a Blackburn perspective, they should be on 6 points, arguably. When you look, so I think, and to be fair, I mean, look, it's 2 games. There's 44 games to go. But if Blackburn do well, then maybe whoever I tip to get relegated is just going to go and have a stormer of a season, because Preston did it last year. Well, started well, and then Blackburn can maybe do that this year. Long way to go, of course, but no, you've got to, and that's not. And sorry, Seven, just say that's not 2 easy games that Blackburn have had to start with. I was very impressed with them at Wolves when I watched them, and in this game, to come back from behind against a good, solid Borough side and turn it around. Fair play. Mowbray's had a great start.
I reckon they should have beaten Wolves. They were hard done by.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They deserve to win second half, I think.
Yeah, I agree as well. And even Middlesbrough were like the 4th top in the top 4 with the goals scored last season. I think they were 72 compared to Coventry had 97. And I think Ipswich and Southampton had better records, and they were this 4th best, just ahead of Hull actually. And Hull scored 70 goals last season, and so yeah,
Sorry, also, by the way, Carl, I was going to say, their next 2 games fascinate me with Borough. West Brom at the Riverside next Saturday, and then they've got Burnley the following midweek. So, I don't know. But you know what, actually? It wouldn't shock me. This is not a Borough thing. I've said this loads of times. It's a Championship thing. Would not be surprised if Borough get 4-6 points from those 2 games. Wouldn't be shocked in the slightest.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all, actually. Like I said, like what... Steph said Blackburn was hard done by the other week at Molineux. That game completely, because I thought it could give Wolves a bit of a scare, especially back in the Championship. But I say a good win for Blackburn and for Tony Mowbray against his old club. We'll hopefully we'll see how they do.
I'll tell you now, lads, as well. Sorry, I'll tell you now, lads. Blackburn player to watch this season is going to be Good Johnson.
Yeah, it's just like his dad. He's just like his dad either, you know.
He's a
yeah.
carbon copy of his dad. Easy for me to say.
Yeah, very carbon copy. I just
But
see the tricks in him for what I
he's going to be the leader for Blackburn up front. He's going to be the one to watch in Blackburn.
If he can get at least, if he can, last season, I don't know how many goals he scored last season. I think it was, I'm just trying to remember, because he was not the top scorer for the club, but I think he was in that top 3 last season. He's only scored 2 goals from 2 this season. So, you know, last season, I think he had 7 goals last season in the Championship. So I'm hopeful, because he's not hit double figures, not since he was played in Denmark on loan. So, you know, if he can get the service that he can do, then, you know, see how his development goes, because he's still 24. So
he's still young. I mean, if he has a good season this season, what's the reckoning to say that mid to bottom table Premiership clubs will be looking at him next season, and clubs around Europe?
Yeah, that'll be interesting as well, especially, you know, with around Europe, they do like to pay money, decent amount of money for players. So we'll see that one. Good evening, Niall. Yeah, we're good, thank you.
Good evening, Niall.
Niall. I know Niall's a big Motherwell fan, and I was, you know, especially disappointed that they went down to 10 men against Freiburg on Thursday, obviously, when they took the lead.
Such a shame.
Yeah. No, well, now we're missing the chats. Hopefully, you catch us up next Saturday on the Saturday show. We really appreciate you in the messages.
A week on Tuesday with the
SPFL roundup. Yep.
Roundup.
Aye, absolutely as well. Ooh, right. Let's go over. I want to go to one of the teams that missed out on the ultimate promotion last season. Millwall beating Norwich 3-0. You know, like I said, Tariq Akonte scored 2 goals this season. He's joined from the French second division side of Rodez in June, with Kundal getting the late equal. Luke Kundal getting the 3rd goal in the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with Cobra getting sent off in the 64th minute. Gentlemen, is Millwall going to be that team again? Really going to be can get close this time after missing out by a point?
I think so. I think they've just kicked on from where we left off, and pure Norwich, let's say, under Philippe come on this season. Don't tell you, it's only 2 games in, so don't shoot the messenger, but they've lost 6 points.
I saw Millwall in the flesh, obviously, last weekend, and even with 11v11 on the pitch, they were I thought very, very good. Look, they're just a well-oiled machine. Look, we're not sat here saying, "Oh my God, they're such a good footballing side," you know, as in they're good to watch on the eye, and you know they create unbelievable XG numbers, and they create incredible number of box entries, whatever. They are just so good at what they do. Josh Coburn has been magnificent so far this season. Aziz and Kramer were both missing in this one. They're 2 best players. Let's make no mistake about that. And they've put away a side who we think are going to be in the top 6, or going to be pushing for that top 8. Sorry, and going to be up there. And they've just put them away with ease at the Den. Look, I don't want to make comparisons, but comparisons are difficult in football. But you look at Coventry in terms of what they did last season and the season before that when they got into the playoffs. They kept the manager, they kept their best players, they added to that group and upgraded it. And you have to say Millwall have done that in terms of squad depth and actually starting quality. And they found another level, and they adapted the style of play a little bit. They look more well equipped, in my opinion, at this moment in time when Aziz is still there and Kramer is still there. I think they might be there, you know, until the end of the window. They just look incredibly well equipped to go again. And I think you've got the way they've just gone about it. It's not just 2 wins where it's a bit lucky, it's a bit fortunate here and there. They've been brilliant first 2 games. They've been absolutely magnificent. And I think you could tell by the way they controlled the game at Ashton Gate, they are just a top quality side. They're going to be. I regret not putting them in my top 8. God knows what reason.
If it makes you feel better, Annie, I didn't either.
Yeah. It's the Coventry syndrome again, where I think I had them outside the top 6, and they go and blitz.
Yeah, I
we're
have
saying
kept
Millwall.
the spreadsheet of our predictions to where we put, so it'll be interesting when we look back on that towards the end of the season.
Well, that's great motivation for Millwall. It'll be HMS piss the league.
Yeah.
Basically, me and Annie put them outside the playoffs. They're going to win the league now, so that's how it works.
All I remember is I was a bold one with my predictions.
Can I just say, Kyrell Lisby, when he came on against us, and obviously Femi Aziz goes off after 20 minutes in our game against them, I thought Kyrell Lisby was utterly ridiculous. He is such a good player. And if Femi Aziz does go, and they've got Conte and Lisby, I think that's absolutely fine to go with for as your starting pair of wingers.
I think after the last 2 seasons, because Macaulay Lagstaff is now joined, he didn't produce the best that we thought that we saw him. And I think Conte was going to be that replacement for Lagstaff because because he didn't return the favour of how much Millwall did spend some money on him. But yeah, about Lisby, Lisby is going to be the interesting one if he does stay. Yeah, it's a good question if he's going to be linked because, like I say, he's going to be linked with big clubs in the future. But you're right about the other players like Aziz as well too, because he's only in his last year of his contract.
Yeah.
If Aziz is in the last year of his contract, though, then probably I would imagine that if they get a good offer, Millwall, they'd be silly.
I don't think Aziz is in his last year of his contract. I don't think so.
He is.
Is he?
Yep.
Let's have a look.
Sofa Score's telling me 2028.
2027, I see on Wikipedia. So he's got a year.
I'll check transfer market. Hold on.
I think he's got a year option on there. That's what I would thought. Yeah.
So that would mean just an extra year. Then they've got leverage on that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think what's good for Millwall though, actually, is because I think Alex Neil's now proven he's able to balance the sort of being very difficult to beat, being very street smart, being very solid, but also be able to have a team that creates chances because they created a lot of opportunities yesterday. Even just from watching the highlights package, they battered Norwich, and I think that's fair play to them. Like I said, I mean they've gone away obviously to Bristol City, which was a hard game. You go there and you get a win. Okay, look, the red card helped things, but still, and then you've comfortably beaten Norwich, who under Field of Command have pretty much been a constant train, just accelerating in games. So that's really encouraging. Is it concerning for Norwich? I don't think so at the minute. I think they'll pick up, but
it's too early to tell. It's part
and they've had 2 difficult games in there, West Brom and Millwall.
They have lost 6 points, but I'm sure we'll make them up somewhere else. And then don't forget, gentlemen, that a week tomorrow is deadline day.
I think for Norwich, from a Norwich perspective, if this goes on any longer, then you're probably looking a bit concerned. But their next game is Burnley at home, which is difficult, isn't it? So yeah, I think for Phil Clement, I'm not concerned. I still think they're a very, very good team with some good players. But yeah, some of the comments by Phil Clement after the game was a bit sort of okay, that's interesting. He said we were I think bullied all over the pitch and just generally just you got millwalled. Well, it is basically you got millwalled. And
unlike Manchester United, they got mauled by the Tigers. So just to give them,
and he said,
Steph can't take it. He can't take it. Yeah.
He also said that maybe the squad isn't as good as people have been saying it is, which is interesting. But look, I like the signing of Masaba to replace Ali Ahmed. I think there's some good. I still think there's some good players in that Norwich team. They'll be fine. I think.
I agree.
Yeah, same here as well too. Actually, right. Moving on to the game at Deepdale, Wolves getting their first win of the season after winning 3-1 against Preston as well. 2 goals from Fer Lopez in the 8th and 82nd minute, with Adam Armstrong scoring in the 7th minute, with Josh Thompson getting the consolation as well, which gave head coach Cesar Pixoto his first win as Wolves manager. Good performance from Wolves, completely, gents. And is this for them? After the late draw against Blackburn, was this the right time to try to take this gear a little bit more?
Yes. And I tell you something, I really like the look of that Fer Lopez. He was just bossing the park yesterday, to be honest. And his goals were nice too.
He literally looked like a cheat code on a championship pitch. Like watching him, it was just ridiculous. He might be the closest thing to West Ham's Jarrod Bowen. Obviously, maybe not quite as good yet, but still. I just want to mention quickly the link up between Raul Jimenez and Adam Armstrong for Armstrong's goal. That is exceptional. That I'm going to go as far as say that is filthy. That is absolute. That should not be legal at championship level. Like, you can just tell both of them are. Armstrong maybe not quite Premier League level. I mean, even Raul Jimenez, you can tell that Raul Jimenez has played in the Premier League, if that makes sense. You can tell he's got the intelligence to know when someone's going to make a run and have the weight of the pass to go to him. Like, it was just brilliant. And actually, from some of the football that I saw, at least all I could tell for about all of 5 minutes. But from what I've looked at the package, really, or the video that I watched, I think that you can see that there's a little bit of a pattern sort of emerging with how Wolves are wanting to play, and so they should with the quality that they will have. But yeah, Fernan Lopez, I think is. Fer Lopez. I don't know why I said Fernan. Fer Lopez obviously just shone completely. And when you've got Raul Jimenez, Adam Armstrong up top, you've got more than a chance, haven't you, of being able to take any team apart. And it's the first away game of the season. Preston, of course, we know all the talk about them being tipped to go down by a number of people and saying like the XG stuff. But with Wolves, that's the type of game that you want to be winning and need to be winning if you are going, even this early in the season, if you're going to be wanting to be challenging to go straight back to the Premier League. But yes, I think some of their play really impressed me from what I saw of it.
Yeah,
that first goal by Fer Lopez.
Yeah,
the turn. I don't know who he leaves just on his backside. There's a lovely image where I think it's Fer Lopez. He starts running away. There's a video of it where he starts running away, and you can see the Preston defender on it, basically on all fours, trying to just looking up. It's a ridiculous turn. It's a ridiculous run. No one gets close to him, and that's not a coincidence. It's a brilliant run. He times the way he goes inside is perfectly as well, because it's very easy to just immediately start running inside because there's space there. He times it perfectly, and the finish is magnificent as well. To beat Daniel Iverson, who's a very, very good goalkeeper like that. I think for our sake, let's hope someone snaps him up in the Premier League or abroad, because I don't want to be playing against him.
Yeah, because he joined Burnley last season. I think they spent nearly £20 million on him last season. Wolves did, and
there's a reason for that. And by the way, this guy was not deemed good enough in the Premier League. I don't know what they were smoking, because he is more than good enough to play in the Prem. I think he went back on loan to Celta Vigo. Didn't he? They bought him.
He came on loan to Celta Vigo. Yeah, I think he was.
They signed him. Yeah. They signed him last summer. He had a bit of a poor 6 months, and then they sent him back on loan to Celta Vigo.
That's what happened. Yeah, exactly.
But this guy's ridiculous. Like, you should not be playing this division. What is he doing in the Championship? Jimenez, Mateus Mane. If that all clicks, Wolves will be. It doesn't matter what Wolves do If it doesn't matter if Wolves can't defend, if those click, they'll be scoring 5 goals every game. They'll be just outscoring everyone. Doesn't matter who they have in the dugout either. So, that's more like it, I think, from Wolves. That's what we expect really from a year one parachute team, and that might be a little bit unfair considering how good they were. But yeah, that's an unbelievable display. More like it. But Preston. Don't know. They lose at Bolton. They get sort of outdone pretty early in the game. Okay, that could have been 2-2 because they had a couple of chances late on to I think it was Osmaich and Liam Lindsay, maybe Lindsay or Hughes, whatever it is. Whoever it is, sorry, can equalise there. But this one is just, yeah. I know it's Wolves. I know they have a lot of quality, but yeah, maybe you should be standing a little bit taller at Deepdale.
Yeah.
If Preston have a bad run, do you think we could be seeing a managerial casualty?
Well, Heckingbottom is going to be one of the top 3. Could be considered, especially not. I don't know who they will turn to after, because that's the question. He's trying to make. He was trying to. Why he came into Preston was trying to make them more attacking, and
How many seasons has Hickey been there now?
Nearly 2 seasons now, two and a half, 3
Something
seasons.
like that.
He's had
Yeah.
one full season, hasn't he?
And you would think inside that time he would try and push on.
A lot of it comes down to a budget thing for me, I think, as Preston don't have the largest budget within the Championship, do they? So it's difficult.
The
But then a
thing
lot of it
is,
comes-
they've gone and smashed their transfer record this summer with Alfie Devine.
Yeah.
But then I don't think that, and they've to be
But
fair,
they lost Ben Whiteman, though, didn't they?
Yeah,
Wexford, yeah.
yeah.
You know.
But they have gone and
What's
spent.
Stefan doing that? Come on.
They've gone and spent quite a bit on Harry Clark as well. That wasn't cheap because I know we were looking at that. That wasn't cheap.
No.
So yeah, I mean he's been reasonably backed, Heckingbottom, but okay, losing Whiteman is a big deal. But yeah.
I know what you mean. They've spent quite big on Alfie Devine, though, didn't they? At the same time.
Yeah, Alfie Devine, Harry Clark, Leo Leroy, Bergzorg on loan, obviously. So, Yusuf Arabi looks good. I'll give him that. He looks like a decent striker.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
He's on loan though from Genk, isn't he? Somewhere in Belgium.
yeah.
I know that name.
No,
So-
not Gent, the one you played on early this week. Genk, Genk, Genk. There's
Oh,
two Genk.
the other one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds similar.
They've added okay. They probably still need a little bit more, and I don't think Heckingbottom's happy with totally with what they've done either.
I don't think it could be a case of him getting sacked. I wouldn't be surprised if he walked, or either that, or do something to make sure he gets his juicy payoff in the form of getting sacked. One of the two, which is what the whole left by mutual consent thing. In other words, sacked. So, but either way, I was looking at Preston's.
Or placed on gardening leave when you don't have a garden.
Well, yeah, that too. But yeah, I was looking. Well, if Annie was going on about Bristol City's record at Deepdale, well, don't worry, Preston, because that's your next home game. So we'll see. Because obviously, because Preston go. But this is, again, I keep repeating this. This is the type of thing that wouldn't shock us. On Saturday, they go to Charlton, who's just won their first 2 games. That is the type of game I could see Charlton losing. Not saying they should lose it, but it's the type of game I could see them dropping points in. And then Bristol City going to Deepdale, you just never know what's going to happen with that one, unless Annie probably tells you probably will. Then obviously you've got the Lancashire derby after, Then you've got the Lancashire derby against Blackburn at Deepdale after that, which is going to be fascinating. And then I think it's before and up to the next national break, you got a trip to Watford, you got Lincoln at home, which feels massive for them. That's depressing if you're Preston, isn't it? With respect to Lincoln, and then they go to QPR, and then that's it before the international break. So yeah, look, does give a feeling of discontentment behind the scenes at Preston, certainly, or at the very least that something isn't quite right. But maybe I'm looking too much into it.
Here's another angle. Man. Do you think for Preston to at least try and attempt to push on this season under Hickey, do you think they'll need to use the loan market to its fullest?
Oh yeah,
it's what they've been doing for a long time. Yeah, that's been their policy.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a policy of a lot of Championship clubs, which is use the loan market to get players you can't afford to buy.
It kind of reminds me of another club's policy as well, and maybe we should be twinned with them.
What are you saying? Are you saying you sack Phil Parkinson then and he goes to Preston?
No. I mean, Hibs, we use the loan market all the time.
Yeah, but Preston have been doing that as much as they've been probably, I would say, going back to pretty much the David Moyes days, because they always had that partnership with Manchester United, that link with Manchester United, and that was the only thing why they, from like 20 years ago, they still did it. And I think Man United don't do it as much because I think it was one time when Darren Ferguson got the sack, his dad just recalled his players back, saying, "Look, we're not. If you sack my son, we're taking the players back." And that's what they've been doing for a long time. So it's been their policy for a long time.
Take the players back. That's quality. Well, either way, we'll wait and see. Yeah, I think at the minute for Preston, I think if I'm being kind to them, obviously, look, it's not great yesterday's result, but it is against one of the favourites for a reason that is going to be among the top end of the division. Bolton away. Well, as we found out yesterday, at Ipswich, promoted clubs away from home, first game, it very often doesn't end well. So I would bear that in mind personally. I mean, look at Lincoln. I know they lost yesterday. Lincoln came very close to getting a result at Middlesbrough last week, and that just shows how promoted clubs have approached the early doors of the season. Cardiff have got 2 draws against 2 respectable sides in the first 2 games, so it just goes to prove anything can happen. But yeah, I think if they don't get a win in the next 2 or 3, then I would start to get a bit worried.
Yeah, big time as well too. Yeah, a bit worried as well.
But the bottom line of that game, sorry, Carl, before you continue, the bottom line of that game is Annie doesn't want to play against Fer Lopez, so can someone sign him, basically?
Please.
Wrexham have confirmed the signing of Fer Lopez from Wolves.
No.
I
know.
If that happened, I would be cock-a-hoop-wads. I'd be...
You'd have every right to be fair.
Take this whatever you want, but I would be proverbially inside, because I can't do it physically, but inside it'd be jumping up and down.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'll tell you what then. All right then. If he can play on the right wing, we'll sign him because we need one badly. And if he doesn't, then we'll shoehorn him there.
Well, you had a chance to sign Harry Wilson, mate, and you didn't do that, so we got to look at
that's quite poor from us, I think.
Even though we're literally Mudryk from Chelsea, that does say a lot of things, actually, thinking, but these are not...
Well, okay then.
I think deadline is going to be very interesting, lads, in the Championship. And
it will be. But being serious, though, right, it will be, because that's when... I hate using the term food chain because it sounds so condescending. But there is an argument to that with when clubs in the Premier League have more or less sorted their squads out, apart from us probably, but most clubs have sorted their squads out. Most clubs,
including Man United, this as well too, because they were bossed by the midfield by a team of Hull who came with a bit of freebies and stuff. So
yeah, I must admit Hull did better Man United yesterday. But the point I'm getting at is clubs in the Premier League will have sorted their business out and. Fuck's sake, Carl. But then I was throwing us off that. But no, joking aside, the clubs in the Prem will have sorted their squads out, and then the players that are fringe players at Prem level will be very good Championship players, and they'll become available, and that's when you'll see a lot of movement. So I wonder where Annie's going. Yeah,
Anis Bonetti.
Go on.
Please. Yeah. I am begging you, please.
What are we wanting now?
I feel like I just want Mehmeti back.
Remain Mundell on loan. There you go.
Is there any truth in the rumour, Carl, that Wrexham are trying to sign a Leeds player on loan, apparently?
There was rumours about it. I don't think it was Lucas Nemecha. I just don't think it will happen because Nemecha is going to probably still be behind Calvert-Lewin. So I think that's not going to happen.
Surely he doesn't drop the Championship though, does he?
No.
You think? No. I mean, I'll tell you what, Stefan, if Wrexham pull that signing off, then I'll tell you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've just clicked on what you meant there, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I should say one last dance. And it's the
I'm just going to spin this propaganda until deadline day.
I like that. I'm just going to manifest it into existence. Like, go on. And it's a Go on. Go on, go to it. You've only got Maeda, you've got Enciso, you've got Fatawu, you've got Jack Clark, you've got
you don't need him, really.
You've got all them. Come on, do you really need Nemetti? No, go on. We'll give you a hefty loan fee and then we'll give you 10 million when we win the playoffs. We'll give you a loan fee, we'll give him playing time. When we win the playoffs, we'll end up giving you a permanent fee at the end. It's fine.
There was also talk of us taking a player from Man United as well, like a French player is never going to get used in the Prem. So that would be
Listen, you take on anything, Stefan, because you just want your glorious Wrexham to get promoted, and you're gonna have to choose who you support next season if you ever get to the Premier League. You can't swap both teams in the Premier League. That's a rule you can't do.
Hey. I've got my chat GBT half and half ready to go, pal.
Listen, you're not doing that. You do that, Rocky will be going ape shit at you if you ever saw some of that on social media.
Right, moving on from Stefan's transfer wish list.
Yeah.
Don't make me say it.
Listen. Moving on.
You're trying to manifest. You're going to Wrexham now.
Right, I saw there was a link. So I had to respond to that saying no. He's got to us. I did see that.
Oh my god!
Bear in mind, lads, bear in mind this year that deadline is from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. A lot can happen. And if there's a 2-hour extended deal sheet, it goes on to 1 a.m.
That's it. Okay, Stefan, let's make a bold prediction then. What about Dan James going to Wrexham on loan? He's not going to get in ahead of Harry Wilson, is he?
He's still. He's not. No, not in this moment.
You know
He's still
what?
a backup.
Do you know
I mean,
what,
just
right?
ignore the fact he's on a hefty. Just ignore the fact he's on a hefty wage, and that Leeds will still have to pay a bulk of his wages. But we'll let that slide.
Listen, if there's any championship team, non-parachute team is going to pay that, it's probably going to be them lining it. So
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right, true.
Dan
Well,
James
either them or someone like either them or like Middlesbrough or something.
Yes, buddy, please.
either them or Birmingham or Borough. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be any of them in it.
some ridiculous.
I like this. Let's keep going. Let's keep manifesting. Like Prem squad players dropping to the Championship.
Yeah.
Wrexham or Birmingham or someone like that. I think either one of them.
No,
I think Wrexham.
Birmingham, you're my ref.
I think Wrexham in particular. I might just go and sign someone for like 10 million from now.
I was going to say, well, Stefan, I hate to break it to you though, but Birmingham look like Patrick Roberts could be going to Blackburn to reunite with Tony Mowbray, so they might need a right wing.
No,
No,
because I was talking to my Birmingham mate and he said no, Chris Davies has come out and said he's not leaving, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, all right then, fair enough.
And he came on against us.
All right,
anyways.
Stefan, you've got hope then.
You got hope, all right. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I think Dad is in the top 10, not in the. He's in the lower 10s of his wage. I do know that for a fact because James Trafford is the highest one now above Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I know that for a fact. I think his contract is actually worth about. He signed a contract last season, a 4-year deal. So yeah, a bit interesting. He's only.
I think any wages he'll be on will obliterate how much Championship clubs' his wage budget though.
He's on about 75 grand a week.
What we didn't talk about Dan James. Come on, it's not the right conversation. Not the right place.
Carl, I think we best we're depressing Annie here. Bless him.
I know.
All I'm asking for is an Anis Mehmeti. That's all I'm asking for.
I know you asking for him. I know you want him.
Right, do you know what you want to happen? Annie is going to be asking for him constantly, Anis Mehmeti to move, and they'll be like, Sheffield United announced the signing of Anis Mehmeti on loan from Ipswich Town for the.
What's the mean?
Here's how he's going to go for Deadline Day. Dear Deadline Day Santa, my name is Annie.
Santa, where's this going?
Please, could you re-sign Anis Mehmeti for Bristol City? Beautifully.
And he's going to go like, Dear Santa, I'm happy to have Christmas cancelled as long as we sign Anis Mehmeti a week within the next 8 days. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Especially he doesn't have his shirt number at the moment. I'm surprised. I'm like, why did he?
Annie, we're giving you hope here. It's happening.
Actually, I give him more hope. Yeah.
You know, when you get those ridiculous social media things, would you rather your favourite player sign for, I don't know, Wrexham or Derby? If I get asked one of those and it's a gun to my head, I'd just say pull the trigger because it's either us or nothing. Please, Anis, please.
I think the correct phrase in that situation, the correct phrase in that situation is I prefer not to speak.
What am I doing? Begging for someone to join the
Emery,
football club.
Silence like today.
Yeah.
So.
Can we move on? I'm thinking about crying.
Yeah. We'll
Okay, come on then. Let's get through some more of the results that we haven't talked about yet before Annie gets depressed.
Well, the team we talked about much, as I said, is Southampton. They got their first win of the season after they started on -4 points with a 3-1 win against Stoke City. I have to say, well, Thunder Eckhart finally got that off his start, even though no -1, but at least they got it, man.
He absolutely needed that. After the way last season ended with the Spygate stuff, and I watched them against Watford, they were terrible. They were absolutely appalling at Watford, so they needed to bounce back in this. Look, are they going to have much harder competition than what Stoke have proven the first 2 games? Yeah. But yeah, kind of complain. I mean, obviously, look for Southampton. The main thing was getting off the board. But remember, this game was 1-1 until the 88th minute. So, that's something that they're going to have to work on. Sorry?
Guess he scored the second Southampton goal.
Oh, I wonder who that could be. Divan Mubama. Oh, yeah, I've just clicked on. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Just to rub it in.
Well, just rub it in for Stoke fans that their former loan player scores against them. Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And obviously, it's great for preparation for when Anis Demeti signs for Southampton on loan from Ipswich for the 26-27 season.
It's not. It's just me impressed. Seeing him in an Ipswich shirt was bad enough.
If it helps, I didn't see him at the stadium yesterday, so you're fine.
He wasn't in the squad. I'm stalking him. He wasn't in the squad. No.
He wasn't in the squad going, yeah, I've got binoculars that managed to go from Birmingham all the way across to Ipswich to see whether he's there.
I'm not Ton Drecker, Christ.
Okay, that was brilliant. That was a very good response, Annie Harris. I like that.
Yeah.
That was really funny. But yeah, well, maybe that's why Southampton might not do as well this season, because they're not sending someone to spy from a tree with the binoculars on and not be very conspicuous about it. Joke about Spurs. The sensible Southampton fans, I do feel sorry for that, because like they're going to get ridiculed constantly for this. Look, massive win yesterday, of course, for Tondo. But I think there's still going to be big question marks over his future in the near future. He needs to get off to a good win. I mean, what's Southampton's expectations? It's got to be playoffs again as a minimum, hasn't it? So, I suspect they'll probably even take playoffs because obviously with the whole Spygate stuff, not to harp on about it too much, but it kind of puts in question that big unbeaten run they went on last year, because how much of it was down to, well, cheating, basically. So let's wait and see. But, and as for, for Stoke, Stoke reverting back to doing Stoke things after they started last season very well, including winning at St. Mary's, by the way, when I remember they won 2-1 at Southampton. I don't know.
I'm concerned for Stoke. I'm
starting to get to that as well.
Yeah,
I know it's early and whatnot, but it's just a bad feeling about the club at the minute. They've spent a lot of money in the summer. They signed George Hurst for big money. They signed Ethan Galbraith.
20 million combined for the two of them, wasn't it?
Something like that. It could be a lot. Obviously, Jibril Samari was like £4.5
million. Yeah.
Yeah, Jibril Samari was like £4.5 million as well.
Yeah.
Milan
Schmidt as well for $5 million. Yeah.
Milan Schmidt is one of the most ridiculous deals I think I've seen in a long time. They signed him on loan in January with an obligation. They triggered the obligation for $5 million. And then the week after, and then he goes on loan to the German second tier. It is so ridiculous. And then they go and sign George Hurst for $6 million to go and replace that. I mean,
look, does that not demonstrate why they are where they are, though?
Yeah, exactly. Some of their transfer business is absolutely ludicrous. Look, I'm hoping for Mark Robbins it starts to turn. I am seriously concerned. I think it was Sam Gallagher who played on the right hand side today. I saw on SofaScore. I didn't actually see the game, but there's some stupid decisions. Look. I think Mark Robbins is a good manager.
Sorry to interrupt you, and Sam Gallagher did play on the right hand side. Yes,
he did. Yeah,
or out wide at least.
Yeah, Mark Robbins is a good manager. I like some of the players. I think they've spent a little bit too much money on some of the players. But yeah, look, that's concerning now for Stoke. It's got to be 2 defeats in a row. Okay, they were much better in this game than they were against Swansea. That is a low bar. And I don't think they've got an easy next couple of games either. So you could be looking...
Got Wolves at Norwich, got Wolves away, Norwich at home, and Charlton at home, and then away 2 away games to Cardiff and Watford, and the last game before the international break, they're home to Sheffield United.
Mate, that is
that's
September international break. If Mark Robbins hasn't got a win by then.
He could be out the door as well. And,
and they got that 3-week international break. So that's going to be interesting what those clubs do by that time,
I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't even make that. I would not be surprised if he doesn't even make that break.
Seasons now, lads. It's 11 seasons now, but it's still coming down in the Championship. And when you were a parachute team, and you were a parachute team back 11 seasons ago now, you were favourites to come up.
Did you say 11 or 7?
11.
I think it said 9th season. They came down in 2018.
That sounds about right.
I mean, either way, it's a long time to not do anything. To not even get top half, let alone even getting when you hit the playoffs.
Yeah. And they should.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the fact, I mean, when they had Gary Rowett at first, and then they appointed, I think they appointed Nathan Jones after Gary Rowett. Yeah, it's just been one mental decision after another. And look, we joke about the money they've spent on the players, but from an SCR point of view, that screws you over big time, because if you're not going to get the maximum return on these players to then sell them on and then get maximum value as a profit, then you can't then spend. And then the quality of players, unless your recruitment's exceptionally phenomenal, which at Stoke it blatantly hasn't been, then you're screwed effectively. So, honestly, it wouldn't shock us, right? I mean, look, I'm not saying Stoke will go down or anything yet, but imagine, picture this, how bad this would be for Stoke fans. Imagine if they went down and Port Vale got promoted. Exactly.
Ouch.
Now try and say that to Stoke fans and watch them wince even much harder than Annie or Stefan did, then go, I don't fancy that. No, that's that's a honking thought. And in fact, anyway, I could actually see a scenario where if they're not careful, they could be what's happening at Leicester in League One at the minute. So
they're the team in the division so far that I'm most concerned about, and that is again 2 games in. They could win their next 3 games, and they could do it like 11-0, and it'd be incredible, and it all clicked. But they're the ones I'm looking at going there. That something just doesn't smell right at Stoke this time around. Despite a good squad, a good manager, Stoke are a big club for this division. Something just smells off.
do you think there's a much bigger chance they get relegated out of this division than promoted in the near future?
Yes.
And it's depressing.
It's been brewed for a long time. And it's surprisingly after 2020 the parachute stopped. It's pretty much, it has been brewing for quite a long time. And
it's not even just that though, Carl. I think it's been ever since they've got relegated. Even in the first 2 years when they were a parachute team, they were awful.
Yeah.
And I think if they go down, lads, to Week 1, they're not coming back out for years.
And we saw with Birmingham, you keep circling the drain. Eventually, at some point, you will get caught. Like even if that's a bit unlucky, and you get relegated on. Well, I think Birmingham got relegated with 49 points,
something like that.
You will get caught. You keep circling it, and Stoke have been close under Michael O'Neill. They were close.
They've had 9 permanent managers since they got relegated.
Under that season when they had Schumacher, Tanasi Palac, DeMarc Robbins. They were close. Look, they. I'm not saying again. I don't think they probably will not. They probably won't go down. But yeah, I'm not. That's just not.
But you're right though.
It's another season where I'm going. They should be good. They should be in the minimum in the top half with the squad they have. They just look rubbish on the pitch for some reason. I don't know what it is. Something about that club is just cursed.
And the problem is the last few seasons, they have been saved by a little mini late revival and late surge to get safety. There has been a genuine
sack the manager, get a bounce, get away, be safe.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much like let's have some optimism. Start shit, sack the manager, get another one in, immediate bounce. Then he has a bad spell, then he saves them, then start the next season, and then it's lather, rinse, repeat all over again. How many times? I mean, imagine all the Stoke podcasts and content creators out there, and they just go, same cycle over and over again. Like you pretty much could just do any content from say 2025 and just put it on repeat for 2026. Because it's pretty much the exact same thing. So, joking aside, I am one with Annie here. I am quite concerned for Stoke.
Yeah, very concerned. It's for Stoke, but a good win for Southampton, which they needed after so much they forgot to go through during the end of last season throughout the summer as well. Right, moving on to Saturday, one of the Saturday lunchtime games. Portsmouth beat Lincoln City 3-1 yesterday, actually, and like I said, Lincoln City will be the first home game in the second tier since 1961 as well. There was a good goal for Abel Adams as well, actually, to give Pompey their victory.
Can I just say quickly, sorry, Carl, Segicic's free kick is brilliant as well.
Yeah, Cedric's free kick was also brilliant as well, too. Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, it's their second defeat. You know, they could have beaten, they were winning against Middlesbrough last weekend briefly until they lost as well. And like I said, for Pompey, John Mousinho, it's been a good, decent start for Portsmouth, despite the needs. Are they going to be at least in above the mid-table? Not, I won't say the top half, but up above the mid-table if they can keep their run of form going this season.
Potentially. I think obviously, look, they needed a bounce back because they lost 3-1 to QPR last weekend, didn't they? So I think this is always going to be an important game. It's actually quite interesting looking at this for me because both were in League One at the same time we were. And obviously, only just 2 years ago, this was a League One fixture. So it's good to see both these clubs in the Championship. When you look at Portsmouth, and I think they deserve more credit for this win, actually, than what a lot of people might think. Because, again, as I mentioned earlier, when you go to this is Lincoln's first home game in the Championship for something like 60 years, I think it is.
61, yeah.
65-year absence, sorry, if it says on BBC here. So, like, Portsmouth to go there and get 3 points is pretty impressive, I would say. This is probably one of the worst times to play Lincoln.
The way they did it in style as well, you know.
But yeah, like you said, when Segic scores a fantastic free kick, and then you've obviously got the third goal for Portsmouth from Adams, which is, you know, they're both brilliantly taken finishes. So yeah, I think obviously remember there was when we talked a little bit about Stoke. It's not the same thing, but remember with Portsmouth there was a lot of talk about John Mousinho when they got humped 6-1 by QPR. Funnily enough, and there was real talk they could get relegated then. And then since then, it looks like they've just settled things down. Mousinho got them safety, and I think now they've got into this their third year in the Championship now, isn't it, in a row? So there's no reason why they can't try to maybe get to the supposed magical 50 points, and then try and look again from there, because they've had 2 mid-table finishes, really, 2 respectable seasons. Why not try and push further on? And they're a club that's big enough to do it, I would say, as well at this level.
Yeah.
They love a 3-1 so far this season. They've lost 3-1
Yeah, they do, don't they?
They've won 3-1. So it's 3-1 to us next week. They're a weird side. Again, I haven't got a proper read on them so far. I think probably Pompey fans would agree with that. They're scoring screamers, which is sort of hard to fully know what that's going to look like.
It's hard to be sustainable, that, isn't it? It isn't sustainable.
Yeah. So it's I'll wait on Pompey. I think they're a good side. They should be fine in terms of relegation fears. But yeah, Lincoln, they were good at Middlesbrough. They probably should have got something with the fact that how late they conceded their second goal. But that's a bit of should have. It's a bit more of a telling result rather than losing at Middlesbrough. Pompey at home is probably someone, if you're in a relegation, if you're going to be down there, it's a game you're looking at that could have big implications to the back end of the season, potentially. So yeah, that's one that got away for Lincoln. And I think from looking at the stats, because it was the same time as our game, so I obviously didn't keep across it. At half time, I saw the stats; they were all over them in terms of the stats, the XG, the shots. Lincoln were all over Pompey. So I don't know. Maybe a bit unlucky again. Will it come? I don't know. I didn't watch the game. So yeah, a bit concerning they've lost that game, Lincoln.
Yeah, it's very concerning. Do you expect them to make some? I look at their transfer, they've only signed 2 permanent players, and they've got a couple of players on loan with JJ McKeown from Burnley and Joe Gassi in Aston Villa, and they signed a couple of players, Nelson from Spurs. Do you expect them they're going to be doing a lot more in the transfer market, particularly in the loan market?
Yes,
because they have got the smallest budget in the Championship.
Yeah, but I think the Cowley brothers are used to dealing with small budgets, so I think they'll get the.
Well, it was in the past, but it's now because it's Chris Coyle and Tom Shaw taking over, so they're both splitting the jobs completely. So is that going to be, again, a bit of harmony be disrupted a little bit?
It could be, but I think that they'll get the best out of the loan market that they can for Lincoln, and I think Lincoln will be fine. I think they will be near the bottom 3 or 4, but they'll be fine. They'll just survive.
Don't worry, Lincoln fans, if there's any watching, because Stefan has tipped you to finish ahead of Burnley, so you'll be all right. You're only 1 point behind them.
Yeah. Again, that bold prediction. Do you know what? I am going to, if I do get Dan up on his show, I am going to tell him where you did put there, because he deserves to know from Turf House. So
I'm keen to see what he says, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I've not thought about it. I need to tell Dan about that, actually. So, might as well.
Oh, Dan, by the way, did you know that Stefan thinks you're going to go down to League One? Well, to be fair, it's not as implausible as what you once thought it would be. We've had one team each in the last 2 seasons do a double relegation.
Yeah, that's true as well. It's true. Right, we've got a couple of games left. I think we get the 2 0-0 draws out the way first. I don't know which one to start, actually. I think we can start the game at Swansea's .com stage, and we need to talk about Sheffield United. They got the 0-0 draw at Swansea City, but the news off the pitch, it's not looking too good, gentlemen, and it's a worry that because with the Blades trying to wait for the first victory, they could be on a threat to be wider order with this minus 12 points deduction. I don't know who wants to go with this one. It's a lot of concern for them, especially who rules the group. Yeah.
We were talking about it the other day, Cal, me and you. And we were saying how much of a mess is that club in? Not just on the pitch, but off the pitch and behind the scenes as well. The club is in a complete mess. I can't see them being wound up, but potentially with a 12-point deduction.
Well, we should know by Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, if the High Court could place it into with the company that bought Sheffield United into liquidation completely. So the one thing I did say, do you remember I shared a comment with you guys the other day in the group chat? And it was like last November when Sheffield Wednesday was in administration, and they were trying to find owner. And there was this weird rumor, and actually they never denied it. A CH Sports, who originally bought Sheffield United, were looking to buy Sheffield Wednesday. They tried to mention flipping clubs. And is now.
Yes, I remember that.
When you put two together, did they realize that they might be in a serious situation in that long run because they're not paid that to Prince Abdullah, who's the former owner, to pay the rest of the money that he owes them?
Whose idea was it? I can't believe that. Whose idea? Yeah, let's try and merge 2 historic clubs that are rivals with each other into the same club. Yeah, that's very going to end well. Do you know what, right? Actually, quickly on the pitch, right? I did see that. I mean, look, in isolation, I mean, obviously this isn't the main story, but in isolation, this is an okay point. This is a pretty good point, I would argue. 0-0 away at Swansea. The only thing I would say is that they're the only team. I think the EFL ITV highlights show did say that they are the only team now in the Championship not to have scored a goal yet. We've got 2-0 draws, and I think I've said this to you in the group chat countless times, but obviously I still think there is players, and I said this in the season preview, there are still players in this Sheffield United team that I do like the look of. Like I said, you're looking going forward about Bamford, O'Hare, Burrows, Peck, Arblaster, Sariki. No, Rothwell's not at the best of times recently. Tanganga in the back 3, Cooper in goal, McCallum. There's players there that I really do like the look of, but I think there was and one of you guys can back us up here. It might have been the Sheffield Star. There was a story about how the policy around their transfers, because they were linked with Harry Souttar from Leicester, weren't they? But obviously that's gone, and apparently they're looking at loans and free agent, which tells me there's something big in this story then about the 12-point deduction thing.
Do you remember the stuff they were going to lose last season about the AI? They're going to use AI to get the players in.
Yes.
I think it was just a bunch of bull that something was not right from that start. So,
in other words, it could be AI data-led recruitment where you can find cheaper players and save money. That's pretty much what it sounded like to me. But I think the biggest thing for Sheffield United is how much did that playoff final against Sunderland, in hindsight, now cost them not winning that game?
Yeah,
it's had a massive domino effect since then, because last season wasn't good enough. I mean, they finished, 13th in the end, which for a year two, I mean, given how they started and how they could have led to relegation, I suppose they're thankful that they were still in the Championship, but either way, it wasn't good enough. And then all this stuff compounded on top of it. Would it be surprising if you see maybe a fire sale in Sheffield United? Are they going to be in a situation where they're going to have to sell players to raise any funds? I mean, they've sold Andre Brooks already this window. They've sold Gustavo Hamer already this window. Could it be a case if someone comes in with, say, an offer for Michael Cooper, or if someone came in with an offer for, I'm trying to think, who else is a saleable asset in their team to a Prem club? Harrison Burrows.
Yeah.
Patrick Bamford will get a Prem.
A little bit, at least $1 million, $2 million, at least.
Femi Sariki.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. This is why I've said that I thought they would be mid-table before all this news came out, because the parachute payments have stopped now, and therefore they're in a situation where they're going to have to sell. So, but it is worrying when you're hearing about all this stuff. It's gathering momentum, isn't it? So one way or another, it needs resolving, because then you need to have some clarity on what you're going to have happen to you. Because if they get this points deduction, then they're going to go on minus 10 points because they've got 2 draws already, obviously. But yeah, it just then means you give you that sort of clarity about what's going to actually happen. Hopefully for their sake it doesn't, but yeah, it's not looking too great. I mean, like I said before, in isolation, this point is okay. They missed a couple of good, decent chances to get themselves the win, but yeah, so I don't know. What's going on especially what's going on off the pitch for the city of Sheffield, football-wise, they're not having a great time, are they? Recently, with what's happened with Sheffield Wednesday last year and what could be happening with Sheffield United this year.
I mean, next season, if we get the 12 points deduction, we could be seeing Sheffield Derby in League One.
Sheffield City Derby in League One. Wow.
Yeah, we've not had that for We've not had that for, I think it's been at least 10 years ago, at least 10 or 12 years ago last time. It was until Sheffield United did get promoted back a couple of years after. So yeah, but yeah. So, jeez, it's so.
Well, very quickly though, what do we think from the Swansea perspective of this? 4 points in the first 2 games, relatively solid, I'd say.
Yeah, very solid. I think they will be a little bit frustrated in not getting a win yesterday, but I think it's a solid 2 games. It's very solid.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to,
pretty decent.
if you want to look at it, I mean, if you take much into the XG argument, Sheffield United's was more than double theirs, and from what I saw, they had the better chances. So I would say, if it was a game where Swansea aren't at their best, don't get beat. I think it's fair enough. You've come from behind against Stoke to get a win in your first game away from home. So I would say it all seems that SCR is more limited than PSR for clubs, potentially. Yeah. Is SCR applicable in the Championship, or is it still PSR?
Yes, now. Yeah.
Right, I thought it. Okay, fair enough. I thought it was. But yeah, no, I'd say for Swansea, it's a relatively solid start. It's just a question of, whether they're going to be able to continue it or have a sluggish start, then end the season well, then Andy talks up how good they're going to be, then gets me convinced, and then everything else. But
end up 11th.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, I'd say 4 points for the first 2 games. It's okay enough for Swansea.
Yeah, I agree as well. Absolutely. So let's move on to the game at the Matchday trade at Lostford Road between QPR and Bolton. Finished 0-0 as well. Like I said, QPR had loads of good chances, but I said good point for Bolton away from home. That's a
very
4
good
points
point
for the first 2 games. Yeah.
How QPR didn't score is beyond me. All credit to Bolton for keeping it 0-0, but how QPR didn't score is beyond me.
Jack Bonham had a great game for Bolton, didn't he? And I had concerns actually about him stepping up to the Championship. If he's going to be a great shot stopper, then fine, I think, for Bolton. No, that's another good point on the road, isn't it? QPR looked really good at Pompey, so that's a great start for Bolton. That winning against Preston, who are your staple Championship side at home, beating them, and going away to another staple Championship side and getting a point and keeping a clean sheet. Yeah, that's a really, really top start. And I think you could ask for much more from a Bolton perspective. Really nice part, really nice foundation. They look very much able that they look like they will be able to compete in the Championships for a whole season. What's
good as well is that this is against a side who's like they're 3 big signings this summer with Tariq Lamptey, Glenn Kamara, and Dennis Serkin. And when you look at that, that shows to me how ambitious QPR want to be. So for Bolton to get a point there, despite, their keeper definitely did have to bail them out a bit, but they're definitely, there's encouraging signs so far. It's obviously early days, and Schumacher will be banging that drum to his players. It's early days, but no, I would say fair play. It's obviously a much better point for Bolton or it'll feel like a much better point for Bolton than it is for QPR. Very quickly, I want to say from a Sunderland point of view, I'm glad to see that Dennis Serkin's getting quite a lot of love in from QPR fans, because I've said for ages that this guy, if the issue is keeping him fit, otherwise he'd probably be in the Premier League. But if you keep him fit, he's one of the best left backs in the league, and I'm glad that QPR fans seem to be appreciating him.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing as well. And I think to go to QPR is actually a good club for him as well. That especially to get that game time as well. Compared to last season.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't even used as much, wasn't he? So
Well, in the times where he did play for us in the Premier League, he didn't look out of place. I remember the home game against Man City on New Year's Day, and he actually was pretty good. And considering it's Manchester City he's playing against, I'm like, oh, this guy's actually all right here. But obviously, I think they just were unable to come to an agreement. So any Championship side that was going to snap him up was going to, as long as they keep him fit, they were always going to have a really good player on their hands. But yeah, I think from QPR's point of view, similar to Swansea, I suppose. They won 4-3-1 at Pompey. Obviously, they could say with the first two, after winning at Portsmouth, this is a game we need to be getting 6 points. Get 3 points from if you're wanting to try and be ambitious and push towards the playoffs. But again, 4 points. I think if you'd offered that to QPR fans before Portsmouth, I'd say they probably would have taken it. You just would have expected it to be the flipped and be expected to be, say you get a point at Pompey, that's okay, and beat Bolton. But I would say there's not much. But I would say it's okay enough for QPR, similar to Swansea, unless either of you disagree on that.
I think QPR they'll want Richard Kone firing soon, won't they? Because because Burrell isn't there at the moment. They've still got goals in the team, but they want Kone up and running.
Yeah,
absolutely. But no, fair play to Bolton for being able to make the step up so far. When you've won against Preston, and that's a Lancashire derby as well, isn't it? So being able to beat Preston at home, which I think was their first home game back in the Championship for something like 7 years, I think it was.
7 years, yeah.
Yeah, so so that's impressive. And then to go to a decent QPR side and get a 0-0 draw, even if your back's against the wall a bit, that's quite encouraging from a Schumacher perspective, though, because that proves you can defend and be able to grind out 0-0s when your back really is up against it. And as a promoted club, you can't really ask for much more than that, I don't think.
No.
I reckon Bolton's going to be fine this season.
Well, I tipped them to get relegated, but I really hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see them stay up.
Well, I think most of them will do it. It's going to be an interesting season for their first season back in the Championship as well. Let's go to today's game earlier on. Isaac Price, who did score since the 21st of April, scored 2 goals in West Brom's 3-1 win against Burnley.
Burnley.
Yeah. And listen, let's talk about the first goal for Burnley. Do you think they should have had a free kick, West Brom? Because it sounded like that. Yeah.
I saw first half anyway. I saw the first half on Sky, and it's a bit dubious. Hannibal knows what he's doing. In terms of he's got his hand, hasn't he?
He was lucky to get away with that, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it's gone directly to let to goal is interesting. Is it Felix Hornmeyer? He had a couple of challenges on him actually in the first half where he was sort of shoved to the ground. So yeah, I think that probably maybe. Yeah, I can see what 100%. I think in the Prem with VAR that's given as a foul, isn't
it?
Yeah.
It's Hannibal just doing Hannibal things, though, isn't it? We know he's not. We know he's not shy of being involved in controversy one way or another.
Especially when it comes to us at Leeds with us Leeds fans as well. Yeah, he's got.
Oh mate, it's everywhere. He had
everywhere now. Before that, it was Leeds, but it's now everywhere.
A couple of seasons ago,
you started the trend of making Hannibal a controversial figure, then, and then everyone starts doing it. But yeah, look, joke aside.
No, that's a great win for West Brom, isn't it?
I was just about to mention that, and actually, from what I've seen of this game, I thought West Brom looked the better team when I was watching it. I thought West Brom looked very impressive. It was, and remember, they're also against. Okay, I think Burnley are probably in the most transition out of the relegated. I know West Ham obviously haven't started good either, but I would still say West Ham at least have had the continuity of Nuno being there, whereas Wolves obviously started well. But I would say that Burnley have lost the most players and have been under the most transition in terms of Hayden taking over from Scott Parker. Well, indirectly taken over from Scott Parker because obviously there was a few games left of last season. But point still stands. I thought West Brom deserved to win. I think they look confident. They had a bit of swagger about them. They looked impressive. They pushed Burnley quite far back as well, actually. And what was good about from a West Brom point of view is bless Callum Styles for the own goal. But once that goes in, it's easy to let your heads drop. But they didn't. They hit back. And yeah, Harvey Price looks a real
Harvey
prospect.
Price.
Isaac Price. Why am I saying Harvey Price? Yeah. What is it with me with names tonight? Right? Ignore my inability to get names correct here. Isaac Price or Harvey Price, apparently. No, Isaac Price looked really, really good. Really good. I mean, the whole team did, but obviously he was just on a completely different level. And I think that, I suppose, from a Burnley point of view, it's that typical thing when a player hasn't scored for so long. Go, oh, Isaac Price hasn't scored since 21st of April. Along come Burnley to ruin that stat for him. So everyone does it, but yeah, look. And I did, and I want to, I'm not going to blow smoke up my own backside too much here, but I remember saying West Brom will have a much better, okay, it's 2 games. We'll wait and see if it has longevity. But I said West Brom will have a much better season than what a lot of people think they will, because their squad is a lot better than being involved in a relegation battle.
Yeah, I agree.
Their wingers, which Price was one of them, but Harry Whitwell on the other side was also really, really impressive. And I think he's a Albion youngster, isn't he? So yeah, if they can, he looks really good. Their new signing, and his name escapes me. Nolan Galvez.
Jimmy J. Morgan is a good signing from Chelsea.
Jimmy J. Morgan's brilliant, but Nolan Galvez at right back has also been. That was a really good half from what I saw of him as well. Really good attacking right back. Not quite similar to Danny Imre, but I think they've try to replace that attacking quality. Diakate, absolutely brilliant. Just nobody got the ball off him at all. He was outstanding. So that's a good start for West Brom. 6 points. Norwich away, Burnley at home. 2 teams most people would have up there. West Brom have beaten both of them. Beaten Burnley. Well, they completed.
Well beaten them, yeah. Do we say from Burnley, by the way, that Zian? I don't know whether he was injured or not, but Zian Fleming wasn't involved in the squad.
Injured.
He's injured.
That's what I was going to say. But you know what happens? Yep, injured. Oh, look, when the transfer window's still open, what a surprise!
He was limping at the end of that West Ham game. So, maybe.
It's 50-50.
Maybe I believe Nicky Hine.
Maybe let's watch this space, and when we come back next Sunday, and then see if anything's progressed on that. I'll say quickly about the signing of Ahmed Hozic as well. By the way,
oh yes,
and
Elaine, Max Elaine as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
So we'll wait and see. I mean, is it a case for Burnley still getting used to the way Nicky Hayne wants them to play? That is Nicky Hayne, by the way. I've got that name not called him something else completely. I believe about that. Okay. No, joking aside, right. Transition, I suppose, wouldn't it? To be fair, actually, when I watched the Burnley against West Ham, they for probably about 70 minutes they were all over them. Whereas in this game, they just never looked in control. Like Andy said, I think if you look at when you had Price, Diakite, Malumbi, and Whitwell, they just completely ran the show really for West Brom. So. But again, I've said before, I think West Brom is quite an underrated team, so I think that actually Burnley losing there isn't as much of a shock. But yeah, I think when you look at it for Burnley, they just need to make sure they can adapt as soon as possible to the championship. The good thing is if they do start slowly, and obviously they don't want to, but if they do start slowly, if they continue a slow start, I should say, then there's more than enough time to make up the gap to the top 8, given that the playoffs goes down to 8 teams. Although I do get the impression Norwich away on Saturday, by the way, after they play Bradford in the Carabao Cup. But Norwich away, both teams, one hasn't had a single point yet, and the other one hasn't got a win yet either. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
With on Fleming and his injury, he probably was struggling. But
I think it's not as much as serious.
So. No. Do you think if that's someone else in that Burnley squad, let's say that's, I don't know, Bashir Humphreys, and he's got that exact same problem, he's probably playing, isn't he? He's probably playing ahead of Zian Fleming, as in he's probably playing that game and he's being started. So maybe there's also a feeling of let's not risk him. I don't know the extent of the injury.
But given the speculation that's with him, though, you would think that, wouldn't you? Given the speculation we could be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 6 here, but there could be something in it at the same time.
I'd be surprised if Zian Fleming said come September the 2nd or whatever it is.
Is that you trying to manifest it because you don't want to play against him?
No, I just think someone will snap him up. He's been linked as well, hasn't he, with the Prem and to Lille abroad.
He's been mostly with Everton. He's the Prem
What's
team.
The price tag for Fleming that Burnley reportedly want? Or has it not been mentioned?
It's not been mentioned as much. I think it's in the double figure. It's in the double figures. The one
It'll be about 20-25 million at least, I would imagine.
maybe at least up to 20.
I reckon it could be an undisclosed fee.
Well, probably what on the least under 20 million at least.
No, I mean undisclosed because they're not gonna divulge.
No, I know what Stefan means. When clubs announce players, more often than not, they say undisclosed fee. But I mean, like when someone like Sky Sports will report what the fee probably is. I just realised, by the way, I can't believe this. Ian Fleming's 28 years old, according to this.
Yeah.
Why did I think he was like 4 years younger? Jesus Christ.
No, he came to Millwall a while ago. Yeah.
So I think,
okay,
at least they probably get, if they're looking to get at least 15 to 20 million.
Yeah, they're not going to. Given his age, they're not going to get much more than that. I don't think, given that there's going to be less chance of a future sale and a sell on and all that other stuff. So, yeah, okay then, that could be interesting. See, because I found out what his age is, I also would not be shocked if Burnley ended up keeping hold of him. But it depends how serious. If someone from the Premier League comes knocking and Fleming wants to go, they're not going to be in a position to turn that down, are they?
No.
I mean, to be fair, Mike, we did score the 2 goals against West Ham last week.
Yeah.
And then seemingly, he limped off in the cup game, which is why he's injured.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But quickly, I would say I'm not worried about Burnley at the moment. I think once they get adapting to the way Hayden wants them to play, I think they'll be more than all right.
Okay, yeah, they will. I think they will do if they could get the playing and because I think they need to use the transfer market quite well, because I know they bought Fertio Luis permanently after the low last season and he's now sold it to Ipswich. They do need some bit of bodies in to try to get the quality and see if Fleming does leave as well. So,
can I say, by the way, their home game against Middlesbrough next Wednesday looks quite tasty.
It does, yeah.
Whenever they play each other, there's always something going on.
Yeah, it's very tasty, that game away. So one of us most will be watching it during the week, the midweek games coming up. So with the Carabao Cup. So yeah, absolutely. Right, we've got 3 games left to go actually, and I thought we was going to hold it for Nathan to come on.
Yeah.
But let's start. We'll leave Annie and Stefan's games the last 2.
Watch us talk about Cardiff, by the way, and then Nathan joins as we're doing the other 2 games.
Well, yeah.
Well, tough luck. Yeah.
Right. Derby County fought from behind twice to earn their first point of the championship season after an entertaining draw against Cardiff City, finished 2-2. Like I said, Kate Asher scored the first goal of the game with Carter equalising in the 26th minute, with Yusuf Salic scored in the 39th, and then Bobby Clark scored in the 49th minute after the second half as well. Really good entertainment with these 2 teams that have really,
Yeah. What a goal from Bobby Clark, though. A thunderbolt from Bobby Clark. I actually thought it was going to burst in it.
I've been impressed with Cardiff so far.
Yeah, I have as well too.
Start well.
Surprising coming from a fan that
Sorry, what was that? What's that?
Cardiff.
Okay.
They played well against Wrexham in the middle thirds, but it was that inability to create those big chances, which you'd kind of expect for a team that's just come up from League One with the nice pattern of play and whatnot. A bit better yesterday. They still don't have their centre backs, do they? Lawler and Chambers are still injured, and Will Fish as well. So they've had to move Joel Bagan into that position. They've had to start Gab Osho started both games. Double check. Perry
I
and G.
wondered where Will Fish had gone. You've just confirmed it for me, Annie.
Yeah, Perry and G in there. Alex Robertson looks really good, and we knew that because he signed for Cardiff in the Championship, and he looked really good. The similar conversation I had, a similar point I made when talking about QPR, they needed Yusuf Salic to sort of start firing, and he scored yesterday. And if he can be their focal point and the end of all of their nice sort of play, then I think Cardiff are looking at a really, really good sort of front line and a source of goals. Keane Ash, they've got some really good young players: Colwell brothers, Ashford, Ronan Capacchio, Joel Bagan, obviously then Dylan Lawler, Jack Moyler, the recruit, looks like a good signing as well. They're a pretty decent team, Cardiff. I expect them to be really good. Derby, I'm a little bit sort of umming and ahhing about because I think that takeover falling through has really disrupted them and their transfer.
I agree as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So I just wonder if that being on halt, their transfer business being on halt, will affect them. Maybe there's a lag until maybe even January where they. I don't think Turk's Alex was going to come back. I think that's kind of dead in the water now. Yeah. I think that because I know he was with you guys last season as well, most of last season. So he's still looking for an English club. I thought Derby, Bristol could be one of them. And I thought, look at Derby, thinking, that's probably Sorry, who? You said Bristol.
You said Bristol.
Because he was briefly rumours at the time.
I'm not bothered about. I think you just called us Bristol, Carl. I think you need a.
You did, mate. Unless you're doing it to wind him up, then I don't know what. Yeah, they did it to wind him up, but you didn't realise.
I kind of did. Do you know what? Because
okay, all right.
I did miss you guys last week because I was kind of thought I don't know why not most of you guys because I would have been doing it last Sunday on the first match day, but we didn't. So I kind of thought.
I mean, Carl, come on! It's not our fault that you decided to get married last week. Come on, how dare you get your priorities in order?
Listen, we planned. This was planned like 8 weeks in advance before, so this was all like.
Man, just move the date 1 week. It's fine. Imagine trying to say
it was 48 hours in Toronto, right? It's been a long time I don't hold it for 48 hours once. The last time I did that when I was in New York when I was only 12 years old with my sister. So let's just get that one out of the way. So I was a bit like.
Could you imagine that conversation, by the way, if you went, darling, right, sorry, I know we were going to get married this week, but the lads are doing the championship review. Sure, and the season's just about to start. So could we possibly push the wedding back like 6 weeks to the international break?
Yeah, there's an international break in 3 weeks. Come on.
Go on. Do you know why I did it? Do you know why I did it last week? Because the fridge was just starting. I needed to get out because of the fridge. It was too busy. I thought, just get the hell out of Edinburgh. So. Oh dear. Yeah. Michael said, Stefan just.
Yes, it does. The Scottish summer window closes the same day as the English transfer window.
It's always has been. It's just
there's been a few occasions where the Scottish windows ended a few hours after the English.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say there's been a few situations before where the Scottish windows ended at like 11 and the English ones ended at like 7 p.m. for some reason. But most times it does end the same time. So maybe at the end of it, we might have Stefan going, Wrexham and the Hibs have done nothing.
Well, Hibs have signed a United youngster on loan from Manchester United. Jacob Devaney on loan doesn't surprise me.
But was he on loan last season in Scotland as well? Was it St Mirren last season as well?
Second half of last season, from January to end of the season. And they've also signed one for the future, apparently. Colton.
Well, we'll talk about the Scottish stuff.
I was going to say, okay. Fair enough. But I'll quickly say for Derby, very quickly though, I think I was kind of expecting them to have won at least one of these first couple of games before Charlton won their first two. Obviously, Charlton away and Cardiff at home. They probably would have earmarked one of them as probably a potential win. But I'm with Annie at the same time, though, to give credit to Cardiff. What I've seen of them so far, I really like the look of them. But I always fancied Cardiff to be the best of the three teams that have come up. And obviously, look, Stefan won't want me mentioning this, but the manner in which we scored last week was Wrexham, that goal was, it sort of continues momentum on a bit, doesn't it? Especially after having just gained promotion.
Yeah.
Stefan's face, you can tell he wanted to put on me there. It's like, come and move on, please.
Well, we've got 2 games left to go on to see who wants to go first, actually, between Annie and Stefan.
I don't mind.
Right, fine. Give us your review on the 2-2 draw yesterday at St Andrews, Annie. Baffling decision at the end about the penalty decision. And also the goal was one of the goals was ruled out for some unknown reason. I don't know if it was offside due to the one your player was straight to the keeper. No one knows.
Yeah, so I was at the game yesterday, and I was on the other side of the pitch to where the two incidents took place. So I was as confused as everyone else in the away end as to what happened there. The first disallowed goal is for obstruction on Sam Tickle. Marvin Dukes, I think it is absolutely miles offside. He's got a little hold of Sam Tickle. I think in the Premier League with VAR, that's probably given. Sam Tickle, even if Marvin Dukes is not there, is probably not saving that. But I don't think that's particularly the point. I don't think that's particularly relevant. I suppose he's impeded. So I can see why that's been disallowed for offside. And I promise this is not just me sounding with me with my Bristol City tinted glasses on. The second one is so hard to call. I don't know how he somehow managed to give that. I think he is probably just trying to even itself out, which is not the correct way to go about making such a massive decision at the end of the game. But for anyone who hasn't seen it, the ball comes in. It's Jason Knight who jumps over Rob Atkinson, who is our own player, jumps over him. His elbow is out there as he's heading it. He elbows it away, but the replays show that it could be either him elbowing it away or Rob Atkinson heading it out, or a mixture of both. Either way, it is silly from Jason Knight to be putting his elbow like that so close to the ball. And to be honest, when I first saw it, when I saw the penalty be given, I thought it was someone sort of climbing on top of a Birmingham player and giving that as a penalty, as a foul. But no, it was handball. And the fact that I've looked at about 10, 15 replays of it, and I still am unsure of whether it hit Atkinson's head or it hit Jason Knight's hand, means how has the referee seen that in real time and gone, that's a penalty? I'm a little bit unsure. But anyway, it's happened. Probably Birmingham will probably argue that they shouldn't have had their goal disallowed, which is, I think, probably a reasonable argument to make. So yeah, in the end, that's at that point in the game, they deserved a goal and they deserved the point. I think overall, we probably deserved to win the game. We had a lot of chances. The first 15 minutes.
Goal of the season compared to that. Come on.
You mean the Pushkash Award? Pushkash?
Yeah, sure. If you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? It's just it is probably the best goal I've seen live. In the flesh, it is magical. I was sat quite low down, and I saw the ball go in, and you can see Ballard has got his back to goal, and I'm just thinking, well, can he try and get that towards goal? The moment it left his boot, and I see James Beadle diving for it, I know that's going in, and it's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous how he's managed to do that. It's not bounced in front of him. He's hit it on the volley, if that's a volley. The ball's not bounced. It is utterly ridiculous. Fair play to Sam Greenwood, who was really good when he came on. He was an integral part of that Ballard goal. Gives the ball back to Rio Cardines, who makes his full debut for City, puts a lovely ball in Ballard. It's all about Ballard. And this conversation I've been hearing of, Ballard and Tolai, they haven't scored yet. Bristol City's two £9 million strikers. Well,
then there you go.
There you go. That's what he's here for. That's what he's there for. I thought Lawrence Tolai had a really good game as well. He didn't score. He had a huge chance. And one sort of decent chance where he should have probably tucked it away. But his hold-up play, and he came up against Christoph Clara, Phil Neumann, two big bulking centre-backs, Birmingham, and he dealt with them really, really well. Back-to-goal play is really, really good. So I'm liking the look of both of them. I'd say overall we were worse when Ballard came on the pitch, but obviously that goal makes up for it because that's just an outrageous finish. So yeah, look, honestly, if I know we didn't do a show last week, but I'd have probably just been sort of doom and gloom and like, you know, moaning about how bad we were. That was a lot better from us and a lot closer to, I think, what style of ball needs to look like, which is fast, direct, channel balls, give the ball up to Lauren Tolai, get runners off him. Having Scott Twine in the team is so huge for us because he's been linked to the move away because he hasn't played. He hasn't started the first 2 games, and he's our highest sort of value asset at the football club, and that obviously will bring speculation with it. He was so good yesterday, and he scored the opening goal. And we should have won the game. We had in that first 15 minutes in the second half, Laurent Tolai misses a huge chance at the back post for the header. Scott Twine literally misses the ball when the ball goes across the face of the 6-yard box. Or the 6-yard goes across the 6-yard box facing the goal. Sam Greenwood has an effort at 2-1 where Beadle saves it brilliantly. I thought Birmingham were actually pretty poor, and they were there for the taking. They didn't, in my opinion, they didn't create enough to score 2 goals. But there you are. You get given a penalty like that, and you just like, oh, whatever. They score. I thought City deserved to win the game. And yeah, if we can replicate that, and if you can go to St Andrews and do something like that, where Birmingham was so good last season, you can replicate that in most games. Yeah, then you're starting to look well. And I think my general consensus is that this team is only going to get better because there's been so much change, but there is a lot of quality on paper there that with time and with, you know, hopefully time to get adapted to the system with each other, that these boys will get better. The squad will get better. There's still some fine tuning to do from now until September the 1st or whatever it is. Then yeah, there's some work left to do, but a lot more positive, a lot better from City.
To be fair as well, by the way, like, you know, and obviously what was big for your fans and for your ownership, really, because remember we were talking about the lack of investment, I suppose, and especially considering the player sales you had recently into the playing squad. They've certainly answered, well, from the outside looking in, they certainly seem to have, I wonder, season-long loan with a £5 permanent transfer when you go up. But yeah, joking aside, what was it, like reportedly 9 million spent on Low High, I think is that you say his name? Or pronunciation. Tolai, that's it, yeah. And then obviously Ballard as well. So, which I've already seen a couple of tweets on Twitter, by the way, confusing him with Dan Ballard. I'm like, that's quite funny. But, I think I
did that at one point, didn't I?
Dom and Dan Ballard. But yeah, no, Dom Ballard, like that goal.
It started with me, actually. That I thought it was by accident.
I keep calling him Dan Ballard. Well, you know what's going to happen? You need Dom to just go and, I sound like Toretto from Fast and Furious, yeah. But you need Dom to have a cross come in, and then he heads it, and then it bounces in off the bar against Coventry in the Cup or something, in the FA Cup if they meet. So that would be quite interesting. But joking aside, I mean, obviously you had them two, which I believe cost reportedly 9 million. Sam Greenwood, I believe, obviously cost a bit of money as well. So,
yeah. Lisa Weiss, was about 2.5 million. As well.
That's what I was going to say. So I was going to say, there seems to be quite a fair bit of investment here. Does your board sense this is the year for you to really try and go for it, even though it's going to be difficult?
The Semenyo sell-on got us £14 million. That's coming into the club. So that's coming to the club. That's obviously there. And we sold Mehmeti and Viner in January for some money. And this summer, we've sold Sinclair Armstrong for £2.5 million. Ross McCrory's gone for just over £1 million as well. So it's not like there's been no sort of incomings, money in terms of money coming in. There has been. And we've got sort of we've let go of some players who were probably on some higher wages, i.e. Mark Sykes, Sam Morsey, Harry Cornick, because we've let go of a lot of players. That in
it adds up with SDR though, doesn't it? Letting go of those wages, SDR wise, it's massive.
Yeah.
So I honestly expect us to do some more. I expect at least I think one will definitely come in, and then I think we've hit our squad limit for 25, and then after that it's about keeping hold of Jason Knight and Scott Twine and praying to the footballing gods that they're here to come
In
deadline. If they're here and we sign a left winger and Spametti, then I think we're seriously looking at we're a good footballing team. We're a good footballing team. You got a really good squad then. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really intrigued. I don't think Jason Knight will be here because of the contract situation, and I can't believe I'm talking about contracts again.
Is he going to be gone before the 2nd of September?
I really hope not, because I think he's so good. He wasn't as good last season as he was in that playoff campaign where I thought he was one of the best midfielders in the league, like not even close. He wasn't as good last season, but if he can get back fully sort of firing under Skubala, again, I think you genuinely have one of the best midfielders in the league, and I don't think that's an exaggeration at all. I think he is that good on his day, and his availability is his best sort of feature. His best ability is his availability. But again, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He hasn't signed one yet. There has been no indication that he is going to sign one. And from a financial perspective, it probably does make sense to go and sell him now for what, 6 million. But if you sell him in January, you'll probably get about £3 million. I don't know. Does the football club take the hit on £3 million for keeping him for 6 months and maybe increasing our chances of a playoff push? I think if this was next season, if this in a year's time this was the situation, we probably would. If he's not going to stay, the longer term probably leaves, and I think I wouldn't sort of blame the club too much. But I hope he's here for the longer term, because he is so good and I love him. Just
to add to the Anderson Messi stuff, right? Because I was looking at something called TWTD. Now, this is from, I think this is an Ipswich.
That's the Ipswich thing, yeah. They're pretty reliable as well.
Right. Well, this is but the source they're quoting isn't very reliable. So this is Alan Nixon here. But basically, they were saying apparently Jack Clark and Aniston Mehdi linked with low moves to the Championship. Apparently, Borough want Jack Clark. Don't know how accurate that is. But anyway, Nemeti, this is the bit that's relevant, is said to be a target of 3 clubs from what I can see here. Derby County, along with other second-tier sides, with Wrexham and Sheffield United claiming to be among them by some sources.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen the links. That's why I'm talking. I mean, it doesn't surprise me he's available on loan, because Ipswich, as we mentioned, Philogene, Clark, Maeda, got options there, haven't they? So, and in that number 10 position, they've got options as well. Marcy and Nunez,
and Fatawu on the other side. Yeah,
they don't need him. So, yeah, if it's not us, I'll be gutted because I love him to bits. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were looking at a permanent and opted elsewhere. I think he's probably just going to be on loan. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Championship. No, that's absolutely not, because
Could you see a bit of an option to buy?
For us?
Yeah.
No, not for us. Maybe a Wrexham. Someone maybe a little bit ahead of us in that pecking order, potentially. I could see a Middlesbrough. That would make sense in terms of getting him on loan and then with an option to buy. But I'm not sure Ipswich want to let him go, because if they get relegated, then having Mehdi is one of your first names on the team.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
He's that good.
But then again, as you said, they've already got Philogene, Clark, Maeda, Sisu, Fatawu, and all that. I know they're not going to keep, if they get relegated, they're probably going to lose at least one of them. Sisu probably being the obvious one. I will say he was very good yesterday, actually, by the way. But in terms of Nemeti, I can see what you mean from a squad point of view. A loan would probably make sense for Bristol City. If it was, for Ipswich, and for Bristol City, I suppose. But yeah, it comes back to what I was saying earlier, when clubs in the Premier League might have their squad sorted out, and then players like an Anis Mehmeti then suddenly become available for Championship clubs, and that's the consequence of the pecking order.
Just to answer Michael's questions in the comments, the first one, the one before that, I think it was top 8 place for City. I said we'd finish 12th, and I still think that's the case. We've only got 1 point in 2 games. I still think it will be a slow start, and I think we'll miss out. I think there are some teams that are still better than us and further along in the journey. But ask me in a year's time. Sell on clause for Mehmeti, I no idea. Probably.
I would have thought so. I would have thought so, not especially because you just sold into Ipswich, especially you know.
We've done it before. We've done it before when we sold up the pecking order. We've it's quite common practice nowadays, actually, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but
and we've done it before with Alex Scott and Antoine Semenyo. Well, Semenyo.
I know that, but bringing them if you bringing a player back that you just
if they're bringing him back, then that'll probably be written off. That's what Coventry did, didn't they, with Gus Harmer? They had a sell-on clause.
Well, yeah. So, for example, if you bought Mehmeti, then you could get him for a cheaper fee because you just wipe out the sell-on crazily. Yeah. Or in other words, and speaking of sell-on, maybe what Annie's hoping for then is if, say, I don't know, who'd be interested in Alex Scott? Man United. I'm just making this up, right? Someone goes in for Alex Scott and go, right, we'll give you a lot of money. And he's going, yes, please. We get a sell on. Then we can sign Anders Mehmeti on a permanent.
Chelsea had a bid rejected, didn't they, earlier this window? Oh, I got so excited. Because we sold him for 20 odd million.
What was the sell on? What was that?
I don't know, but I don't think it's as high as Semenyo. Speculation. I don't know. We'll find out.
It'd be at least 10-15%, wouldn't it? You'd imagine.
Yeah, at least. I think 15% is probably at the lowest. It probably will be. I think it's probably that between 15-20. And then profit, if he goes for 70-80 million, you're looking at a pretty decent amount of money. I don't think he'll go this window. I think he might go next summer, but whatever it is, he'll be getting back for it.
I think his contract runs till 2028, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that.
And he refused to sign one this summer as well, didn't he?
That's what I was going to say. If he doesn't go this summer, he'll absolutely go next summer because Bournemouth will look at it and say, well, you've got to sell him to make some money for it. And even if you sell him with a year left, you're still going to make a big profit on what you paid for him. So, if he doesn't go, I'm with you. If he doesn't go, I could see a scenario maybe if he goes in January. Possibly because Semenyo went last January. So I could see a world where that happens. But within the next year, I think he probably will leave Bournemouth. So one way or another, you'll probably get a big juicy sell-on in the next within the next 12 months, I would imagine.
Yeah, and for all I've sort of berated the recruitment, that's been pretty good from them. There's those 2 sell-on clauses will make us a lot of money, hopefully.
Aye. Yeah. No, fair enough. Right, let's get to the last game then. Stefan, probably disappointed with Wrexham finishing 1-1 against Watford. I know your owners, Rob and Ryan, were there at the game, but disappointed draw against a Watford side that beat Southampton last week, and somehow they got a draw. They should have won that game.
Okay, let me put this into perspective. A good draw on Matchday 1, right, against Cardiff. It was a derby. It was always probably going to end in a draw.
Away from home as well?
Yeah, and it was very entertaining. This week, the draw again against Watford at home when we had umpteen chances again to bury the game. And Emily scored from the oval into the box. From Thompson, from Thompson, and it was a well-taken goal by Emily, but the long and short of it is, we should have buried the game way out of sight. Come the time Watford scored their equaliser, which I thought again, Patterson could have done better. It was similar to the free kick that Cobwell scored last week for Cardiff.
So did you go in your head when you saw that goal go in?
I was, because the marking was non-existent, but the way the ball was headed in, Patterson could have done a lot better with that. Now, I've got nothing against Anthony Patterson at all. We paid 10 million for him. He's played 2 games so far. But the 2 goals he's conceded, in my opinion, you should have done better with.
Just to add to that, that's why I said last week. In the group chat, I mean, when you signed him, I like Patterson at Championship level. He is very good, but it's those little errors that are why he's not playing for us in the Premier League.
If he was to somehow rub those errors out or eradicate those errors, I think he would be a top keeper. And I think we're very lucky to have him. But if it happens, and sorry, hold on, that can't be true.
No,
This,
it's not.
gentlemen, cannot be true.
What, Wrexham being linked to Jamie Vardy?
I feel like he's either because he's linked to a move to Brazil this past week, and also he wouldn't say no going back to going to Sheffield Wednesday
Or Leicester.
or Leicester, exactly.
But
So, Stefan, when you say this can't be true, do you mean that in a good or a bad way about Vardy? As in, what it can't be true as in he's too good to come here? Or do you mean, no, it can't be true, I think we could get better than him? Which way do you mean?
What I mean is, no, I've not heard anything about this one at all. My fingers pretty much on the pulse. On my YouTube comes up with about 40 Wrexham channels. And
How many? 40?
round about that.
4-0.
Jesus. 4-0.
Oh, Wrexham. Stefan's a busy man.
Every Wrexham YouTube channel I follow.
Fair enough.
And none of them have reported this. It would be good if it's true because he is a good, pardon the Leicester term, but he is a good fox in the box, and sometimes you need a player of that ilk, of that quality to get you goals in vital moments in games. If it was to come off, could we get anybody better than Jamie Vardy? Potentially, yes. I think over the years, Jamie Vardy's been with Leicester, and he's now at Cremonese. He's
No, Cremonese. He's left that club already.
Oh,
They got relegated last season in Serie A.
well, then, in my opinion, he's one of the hottest free agents in football.
Yeah, but only at 39. I don't think he's not as for a couple of teams around the Championship League One, particularly. Yes, I don't think surprisingly, Sao Paulo's been Sao Paulo in Brazil, which is the big surprise. So
yeah, just before we bring the table up, gentlemen. So on the whole, good point for Wrexham, but we should have won the game. We've got the Hollywood Derby this week in the Cup against our Hollywood rivals, let's just say, Birmingham City. That's going to be another entertaining game. If that goes to another draw, then extra time and penalties, I'll scream. Because I can't handle these draws. It's not good for the old ticker, But just another quick thing, and this just requires a yes or no. Because of the incident to, well, Michael, I'll believe it when I see it, my friend.
I know listen. We prefer to have slow news than fast news when it comes to transfer and stuff. And I would count my chickens until that happens. So
I'll have a quick look on social media and see if there's anything. Am I assuming this is still about Jamie Vardy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, let's have a look.
So, this one just requires a yes or no before we bring the table up, gentlemen.
I'm looking at I'm just looking at here, and I'm glad Google AI actually did this. He would not be signing. Despite heavy speculation, clubs officials are confirmed the moves of financial instruction, unfeasible duties, high wage expectations. The pundits like Harry Redknapp's publicly tipped the Hollywood backdrop through the EFL. So yeah, no.
Right, okay. I think when it's an article of ex-player tips club to sign player, I'm like, yeah, it's basically an opinion.
Like Harry Redknapp, who doesn't even know. So that's what he talks about most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I would say, Stefan, that's an opinion piece more than a. Sorry, Michael, that is an opinion piece. I would say probably likely to be an opinion piece more than a news story.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, do we think that a version of our favourite three-letter word should be introduced in the Championship because of the incidents at Birmingham and the one where the player deceived the referee by handling the ball into the net and scoring a goal. Subsequently, he got banned for this, or he's in the process of getting banned.
He's already has been. Hegbo. You mean Hegbo?
Yeah.
He did get banned. He got banned already. He's banned for 2 games. So he didn't play.
Okay.
Yesterday. He didn't play today. Sorry, and he's not playing this week. So he should be back after next week.
But because of those incidents, do you think? And Sky Sports ran this poll as well, and 75% said no, but 30% said yes.
Oh, for VAR. Well,
do you think that VAR should come into the Championship or a version of it?
See, this is the thing. The fans are, until listen. I'm going to say this on this perspective. I'll be quick. This one. When the fans moan about whether this goes against away, then there's some reason they don't want VAR. I'm thinking, do you want this incident to have these incidents continue to happen, or do you want to make a change? And even though yes, you still could play, but make a big difference. What do you want eventually?
Yes or no? Yes, but it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be handled better. It needs to be used better.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying Vanny.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say, yeah, I think VAR needs to be in some form of VAR needs to be in the Championship. Look, everyone who's watched this long enough knows I have been not the biggest fan of Championship standard refereeing. I think it's dog shit, to be quite frank. I think it's awful. I think that when it comes to, it's like, for example, a big, crucial, major decision can sometimes make or break a team's season. It shouldn't, obviously, because you have to have team accountability, your own performances and stuff like that. But look, not make about us too much, but let's look back to the playoff final, Sheffield United Sunderland. Remember that massive call that was where the goal from Harrison Burrows was disallowed because Vinny Souza was impeding Anthony Patterson's viewpoint. Now imagine if there hadn't been VAR and that goal did stand, and I'd found out after the game that it shouldn't have done. I would have been absolutely fuming at that. VAR. Maybe at the time I loved VAR because it helped us get to the Premier League. But the point I'm getting at is there's been plenty of decisions that have just been absolutely baffling to me. Let's take the Hegbo one at West Brom for West Brom against Norwich. Norwich at that point were battering West Brom. They were having the better of the game, and then that goal goes in and changes it. And then imagine if VAR had been intervened and that had been disallowed. That the context of Norwich's start could be totally different. So, me personally, yes. I think there definitely needs to be something about how they look for any minute details to try and disallow a goal or something along those lines. But some version of VAR, I think, needs to be in there. And people forget VAR doesn't look at every major decision. They look at the ones that are supposed to be clear and obvious errors. Now, obviously, the interpretation of that has been skewed by what is a clear and obvious error, what is an objectively clear and obvious wrong decision. So, but yes, I would say I would like to see VAR in the Championship myself.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly as well. And I remember Jeff Stell was ranting, and he thinks Martin Keane was talking clueless. But technically, in a way, we're gonna still, he was passionate that the VAR, he didn't want VAR in the championship, thinking, all right, so we're gonna have these same incidents every single week. Then we talk about it, and it's gonna get passed. At some point, there has to be the point you're gonna have to bring it in.
You do though, but like if you look at flip this to Jeff Stelling, right? Not that he would be listening to this, but say if he was asked, okay, let's say there's a world where Hartlepool, let's say, get to League Two, then let's say they're in the League Two playoff final to get to League One, to get back to League One for the first time in something like 13, 14 years.
Yeah,
and they lose through a bad call from the officiating. Actually, that's probably not the right accurate because Wembley does have VAR, but okay, National League playoff final. Let's say they lose that game through a dodgy decision that was wrong by the referee and should never have gone against them, and that cost them the game. Would he still be saying the same thing?
Probably not.
That's the point. Yeah, exactly. So I get the argument why.
I think it's their generation of fans that we know, his generation. So, and that's why football's so slow with the innovation compared to other sports. It's just like, right.
We're in the dark ages compared to other sports, aren't we?
I mean, Carl, you could probably have the Scottish version of VAR in the EFL Championship.
You could do, actually, because it's a lot more cheaper. It's a lot more cheaper to run than.
Can we have a less corrupt version of it, though? That'd be quite nice.
Well, listen, you're never going to get everything 100% accurate. Listen, I'm a big tech fan. Nothing's going to be 100% accurate. You're going to have that 2% error, okay? I know for us, this current implementation, it's been a lot of errors. And I think they're trying to, we're not going to get 100%. If we can get at least 2% error, we can be fine with that, as long as we,
Yeah. That isn't what I meant. What I meant was, if you remember at the end of last season, when Celtic got a decision away at Motherwell, I think it was, for a 90th minute penalty, that was never a penalty. And from a Hearts perspective, you should be fuming about that because that ended up contributing towards you not being robbed of the title.
Oh, Michael, no. He was fuming.
Also, I was fuming. I was very
yeah, that's what I mean. So if we get a version of that in the Championship, can we rob out the favouritism towards one club? Because that is ridiculous.
I phoned Carl on the final day of the season when I was coming back in the car. Michaela Danielle that they were ripping.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm defending him, me being a Hibs fan, defending him, staying with him because that was not a penalty.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the. But yeah, but I do get the point. If that is a cheaper version of it, as long as it's completely unbiased and completely neutral, then yes, I think you should have a version of that within the Championship. Because I know there's been VAR in the playoff finals in the last few years, hasn't there?
Only in the Championship, not for the other two.
Okay, well, in which case then? So again, it's like, imagine, okay, let's say Bristol City played Sheffield United again. Let's say they played them in the playoffs. And given how Sheffield United are a lot worse now, Andy, I think you should have a good chance against them if you did. But the point I'm getting is, imagine Bristol City played Sheffield United and then there was a big controversial call that Chris Wilder's jumping up and down like a loony moron, and then ends up getting well, then there you go.
There was.
Example, then.
There was, yeah.
I actually wasn't thinking about that, but yes, now you mentioned that. Look at that Rob Dickey red card.
Unfortunately, did they not have a vote on it during the summer?
Yeah, and they rejected it. Yeah,
rejected it. So I don't think we'll be getting any sort of, unless it's a drastic sea change of opinion. I don't think we'll be getting.
Yeah,
just put damper on it. I don't think we'll be getting
I
it.
bet West Brom will be changing their minds after their own player got suspended for 2 games. So you might as well now think carefully. You know when you'll get played, get suspended. You might think, so.
I'll finish by saying the idea of VAR might be better than the actual VAR itself.
You mean the idea is better than the execution of it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be like that.
I still prefer it to EFL officials myself, but that's just me.
Not wrong.
Right, gentlemen, we'll finish it off anyway because we're going to get to the table as well, and call it a night as well. So, Millwall, West Brom, and Charlton have their 100% record still going. Wolves getting their first win up to the 4th. Blackburn are in 6th. Watford dropped down to 7th alongside Swansea at 8th. Portsmouth getting their first win of the season and move up to 10th, with Middlesbrough down in 11th place. And Cardiff is still with two draws alongside Wrexham and Birmingham City and Sheffield United. And at the bottom of the table, Southampton moved to -1 point, getting their first win of the season, with Norwich, Stoke and Preston and Lincoln City are still winless, alongside with Bristol City, Derby County and West Ham United in that bottom half as well. So yeah, that is all the tables there as well. But gentlemen, thank you very much as always as well too. So just take this off this layout. Thank you very much as always.
Calling them Bristol City, by the way, not Bristol.
I know. Listen. I try not to piss off a lot of people, including you, Annie. Okay, yeah. Listen, don't shake your head at me.
You had one job. Terrible Irish accent.
Yeah. Come on, Carl. You're supposed to get it pretty correct. That's his job.
Listen, we have one job, okay? With one job, I try to do my best, okay? It's not as simple as that.
Yeah. It was just quite funny that the amount of people that call Bristol City Bristol, and even I get annoyed by that. I'm like, Bristol City? Rovers? Which one are you going to go with here?
City will do, and, crap or something for them lot will do as well. Whatever.
Yeah, okay, fair enough there. But no, thank you for everyone for tuning in and listening as well too. Like I said, I will put Michael and Annie's channel on the collaborator, so you can follow them on the link if you missed this show as well. We are going to be recording, put this the audio version on Spotify, so you can have a listen to us as soon as possible when that comes out. Like I said, myself and Doug will be back on with the 20 podcast, and Michael gives his response on the 20 PL podcast about Sunday's loss at Ipswich later this week as well too. I think me and Stephen will be back on next Saturday with Reese to do the Saturday show at 11:30 as well. The championship review is back on over at 8 o'clock next Sunday as well, a little bit earlier as well too. So yeah, but like I said, if you like to, please hit that like and subscribe button across which we are. If you're on YouTube, on Twitch as well, please do it as well. But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure always. Like I said, hopefully I'll see you guys same time next week.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Dominic. Can't wait to do it all again.
Thank you very much. And also, if everyone as well, if you're a radio listener, please, I'm back on next Saturday at 4 p.m. to do DJ's Carl's Big Bad Saturday Football Show on Wildside Radio as well. I'll put a link if you want to listen to it, so you can hear some good quality music while I do all the live reporting across all the games across the England, Scotland, and the rest of Europe as well. Yes, Stefan, you're tapping your finger as well. Is there anything you want to say?
No, it was just applauding you there for your little plug.
Thank you.
Well done for that. And the last thing is, so in case anyone's heard Annie go, Anis Nametti, basically what, for who's listening on audio, basically what he's done is go very up close to the camera and go, Anis Nametti. I
think people listening on audio have got the gist of it. I think they've got the gist.
Yeah, well, I thought I was just an excuse to mention it again anyway.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Right, that's all we've got time for. We'll see you guys at the same time next week at 8 p.m. next Sunday here on the Banter Podcast. Have a good week and take it for now. Bye-bye.
Time for cities and towns to start dreaming again.